All right, welcome back, everybody, to another Video Boxing Podcast, Part 2 of the report cards. Well, we didn't even get into the report cards, but I suppose it is the official Part 2 because we had to restart this. But shout out to everybody out there in the chat. If you're joining us for the first time or for the first part of this episode, shout out to you. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Spread the BDA gospel, especially in this holiest of seasons. That's the best time to start spreading that BDA gospel, right? There's too many uninitiated out there, too many dirty, unwashed masses that we need to correct. All right, fellas? Shout out to everybody in the chat rejoining us. Shout out to Vladdy V, Heretic, Ralph Unreal, Team Batman Boxing. Who else am I getting here? Killer Be Kill in the house as well. Shout out to Killer Be Kill, Fluffy Toasters 89, Bray, 1 foot out the door. The Slugmeister, Slugger Sam in the house as well. Let's get on the show. Let's get the show on the roll. That's right, on the road. 1 foot out the door, Knockout Ned, Never Sober. Many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I got the Jim Marino and the Gons joining us. Guys, thank you so much for your patience and for bearing with us here. And the guys in the chat as well. Sorry about that. I don't know, the modem or router or whatever was being overloaded. But we are indeed back now. And, fellas, I'm sharing the screen with you. So you're going to need to check that out because we're going to be doing the annual report cards. Let's just lay it out on the line here. What it all means, report cards. We're going to be judging as we near the end of the year here. Pretty much all of the major fights have been done. None of the top 10 guys are going to fight again this year. So it's the good time, or as good a time as any, to start looking back at the year and analyzing some of these fighters and which ones passed and which ones failed. Now, here's the thing. I want to remind people how this works, in case it is your first time joining us for the annual report card. We've got 3 ratings. And only 3. We've got pass, which is when a fighter does what he had to. No thrills, no frills, just a solid year, right? You got fail, speaks for itself. And you get the coveted honor roll. It goes only to a select few. And that is when a fighter went above and beyond what he should have done. Now, the issue gets tricky with this year because most fighters, for them, the norm is fighting 2 times a year. So if a guy fights 3 times a year against solid opposition, you're like, well, compared to his peers, I guess that's an honor roll. So we're going to try to determine that. We're going to figure that out as we go along. Sometimes also what we'll do is, if we give a guy that pass, sometimes the panelists will preface it by saying whether it's a low pass or a high pass. So some passes are better than others. All right? That's about it, man. Guys, any questions, comments before we continue?
Clear to me.
Very clear. Fantastic. That's what I want to hear. What does that mean, Jimmy?
Well, why? What did I say?
You said,
Oh, did I? I'm sorry. I'm getting old and I stood up.
No, but you got any questions about the annual? Well, I mean, you guys are veterans of the show. You know how it works. But anything you want to add? Anything you want to suggest? Or?
Well, I just want to start off by just a little side note, man. Fuck, it's always like you call, right? And it's funny too because I had just went to Twitter and I was just looking at it. I just gotta say, man, it's fucking. I know it's always the same thing. I just gotta say the level of toxic tribalism, it just never it never ceases to amaze me that you get the same people who just denigrate and besmirch people's accomplishments because the fighters don't look like them or share their ethnicity, and they do it with impunity. Like, and if you just changed, like if it was me just saying the things these guys say, I would have 75 motherfuckers in my mentions calling me racist and white supremacist. But you can just just blurt out the most stupid, like takes. Like, these tweets should come with fucking warnings. Read this at your own risk. Reading this tweet, you could lose IQ points. I mean, it's just about Inoue. I mean, who's clearly has the best fucking resume, has dominated 3 weight classes. Nobody has the combination of athleticism, skill, power, predatorial style as that kid. Nobody in boxing. And these fucking clowns are trying to say Tank Davis and Errol Spence. all because, and then you say, you see, I read, I don't get involved. I'm not going to try to interact with these fucking mouth breathers because I don't need the aggravation. But, and it's just always the same thing. So it actually gets me angry. It makes me it makes me appreciate ice hockey. I go to a fucking thread on ice hockey. People argue about who's better player and shit, but it's none of this. It's none of this. And it makes me really dislike the sport, to be totally honest with you. I'm just glad fucking, I'm talking with you guys and you guys like the sport for what it is. But I just had to get that off my chest because it's really starting to get under my skin really bad.
Yeah, when people
ignore it.
When people call you an old racist, I disagree. You're not old. So these people really...
No, I'm not old at all, man.
That's right. That's what I'm telling people. Now, the second part of the statement might be true, but the first one certainly isn't. It was a joke, Jimmy. Come on, man. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Listen.
I know. I was laughing. I was on mute.
Listen, these guys are lowlifes, man. They don't even watch boxing. I think Thunderdome said it best when he said a lot of these guys, they just look, when a fight happens, they go on Twitter, they look at the fucking highlights. Oh, I watched the fight. And then they go on Twitter and go, this guy is the goods, this guy's this guy's that. And that's what they do with Tank Davis. I don't even think they watch his fights. They just comment on the highlights. How many people have we had?
And of course, it was started by Tank because, like, when Canelo fights or somebody fights, he says these stupid shit and then he deletes the tweet. I don't even know what he tweeted because he deleted it, but all the threads are still alive. The threads don't disappear, just his tweet does. But this guy, Mac Nelius 100, he's an LDBCer. I've seen him and with that shit. Yeah, fighting a bunch of no-names in irrelevant weight classes. That was his response about fighting no names, you fucking jackass. You mean fighting the best in each of the 3 divisions he dominated in it's weight classes that are irrelevant. You know why? No, who's that even remotely looks like me? It's exactly. Like, really, dude? Yeah. It just, man.
I mean, listen, yeah, these people, I mean, they don't even watch boxing. They watch NBA, NFL. They're too busy trying to look for the next NFL 2K bootleg in their hood. They're not watching boxing. I've learned that the hard way throughout the years. And I don't, listen, don't read what these people, don't associate with these lowlifes outside of this platform. If they want to come on this platform, fantastic. We'll do it here. It'll be for entertainment purposes.
Never. They'll never come on here. They're cowards.
I know. Never. What I'm saying is outside of business. Fuck, I don't want to deal with these people. And I just want to clarify because people can say, well, what do you mean these people? Yeah. Listen, I just want to clarify. I'm talking about ghetto ass Nimrods. That's what I'm talking about. So get that through your fucking heads, people. All right, listen, we got to start with the report cards here. And please, guys, let's try to be mindful of the time because I looked at the last year's edition that we did. We had to split it into 2 parts of 3 hours each. And we only have about 20 fighters. So let's not spend more than 7-8 minutes on a fighter. Because again, we got 20 something to get through. So this is not a show where we're going to discuss we're going to focus on one boxer. It's multiple boxers. So let's get right into it. All right, fellas. And don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. All right, we're going to start off here with Kinshiro Teraji. Kinshiro Teraji fighting at 115 pounds, I believe. Hold on a second. I'm getting it wrong here. What am I talking about? Yeah, light flyweight. And this guy had himself some people in the chat saying 10-hour stream, says Fluffy Stotion. No, not a 10-hour stream. We gotta work through this quickly. Well, Gonzalo, how do you say smooth is fast, fast is smooth, or how does that go?
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Okay, well, in this case, fast is going to be smooth all around. So let's get down to it. Kinshiro Teraji, fighting at 108 pounds, junior flyweight. And this guy had himself quite a year. He avenged his one and only loss against Masamichi Yabuki. Look, some people could say, oh, but he had a loss. Yeah, that was in 2021. This year, we're talking about this year. Avenged his loss, did it in impressive fashion, knocking out Yabuki in the what was it? Let me check it out. 3rd round. And then
what's the dude's name?
Kinshiro Teraji.
What's his name? Teraji. Sounds like something you need a cream to clear up.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying.
But anyway, listen, he knocked out Yabuki, avenged his one and only loss, and then he knocked out and stopped the excellent Hirogoto Kiyoguchi, who I thought was going to beat Teraji. So, fellas, what would you give him?
I'd say Fasting. I watched this fight. He's pretty good.
Pass.
Of course.
I'm tempted to go with honor roll here because it's 2 wins, stoppage wins. He showed skill. He showed panache. Tempted, fellas. I'm tempted to go with the.
Honor roll.
Yep, honor roll. Then I thought we were just doing pass and not pass, but okay, yeah, honor roll.
Fellas, the honor roll. We're starting off with a bank here, right off the bat. Now, last year, just for context, I think we only gave out of the 20-something fighters that we looked at. I think we only gave out 3 honor rolls. So it is an exclusive designation. It's a high honor, perhaps the highest honor in boxing. Some people can say, "Yeah, what about Hall of Fame?" Nah, getting an honor roll from the BDA panelists. I mean, I'm telling you, that is. I'm just getting teary-eyed here just thinking about it. So shout out to Teraji for getting himself an honor roll. All right, let's move on here. Or is it? Who's next? Who next? As they say. Well, let's go with the aforementioned Inoue, who just fought yesterday. Knocking out Butler, becoming undisputed, and today's undisputed. That means for Gonzalo?
Yeah, honor roll for sure. This guy's abilities are unrivaled. I like the way his feet are always in sync with his hands. When he's cutting the distance, he's always in position to punch with any type of shot he wants to get you with. It's not just like Bivol, like straight line. Bivol's a master of the distance back and forth in a straight line. This guy's a master of the distance overall. His hands are in sync with the feet in regards to hitting you with any type of punch. His feet are always correctly placed when he's cutting that distance.
Man. Perfect, dude. Excellent take, Gonzalo. Seriously. I was going to say the same thing, brother. You got a good eye, dude. I was watching him yesterday. The second time I kind of went through the fight, I literally never stopped watching his feet. I just sat. He does this kick thing with his right foot. When he spins around, he kind of does and it's always half steps. Like, Bevell has excellent footwork for his space. But you nailed it on the point. You said he keeps his feet in a position where he's always ready to punch. So he takes these little half steps, and then he kicks his right foot back, and then they'll spin it kind of behind him, and he just punches his right toe down into the canvas. It's amazing. You can tell it's just something he does all the time. And you're right. No, he always takes these baby half steps, or he takes half steps out to the right, and he'll start cutting to the right ahead of his. Yeah, no, it was. That kid Butler yesterday, that fight was amazing. That kid didn't want it. I felt bad for him. It was like watching a pro spar a fucking amateur. Mm-hmm. It was like that. That kid just didn't want to get. That's how hard that kid hits. He throws thunderous shots. It's crazy.
You know how good he is now? He's so good that he's gotten to that point where people go, okay, who can beat him now? You know what I mean? It's like, usually, being fanatics here of boxing, we know who's who around this division. So we know, okay, this guy could give him a hard time. We know that nobody's invincible. But this fucking guy, would it be fair to say he's kind of approximating invincibility?
He's about as invincible as any fighter fighting today, yeah. He's at that status right now because he has people like that kid Butler. I mean, I know, of course, I'm sitting there, he didn't want to engage, which he didn't, clearly. Doesn't mean he's not a tough kid. 99.9% of most dudes in the street, he would beat the dog shit out of. Tough kid, he's a professional boxer. But he was in there and he acted like he just did not want to get hit. And I'm sure he had a game plan of get him tired, catch most up your arms, and when you see you see his shot, take it. But his punches are so fucking hard. Guys just don't want to get hit by him. They just try to do it, and then it ended up having what you had yesterday. And, even Tim Bradley was just blown away. Although, at the end, though, after praising him, when they said, well, if he fights Fulton next, I can't tell you who I'd pick. Yeah, of course you couldn't, Tim. Mm-hmm. Of course you couldn't. And I believe in my heart that Tim thinks that fucking Inoue would fucking beat Fulton, but he can't say it because he knows the ration of shit he would catch. If he did.
I think it already did affect him a little bit because he's talked about that. And then, of course, how it affected him when the Pacquiao fans went after him when he got the decision over Pacquiao in their first fight. So, yeah, he's a guy that certainly is listening to what people are saying, and it seems to have affected him. Now, how much hope do we really have in the Stephen Fulton fight? Not much. As long as he stays with the PBC, Fulton does. It's going to be a difficult fight to make, but there's always MJ in that 122-pound division. Now, I tell you what, Joe, real quick, Luis Neri is looking for a Inoue fight. And look, Neri, he's a physical fighter. He's got power. But if you look at the Figueroa fight, the fact that he got hit with a body shot and dropped, and Inoue, that's his bread and butter, man, going to the body. So it would be entertaining at least. It would be better than fucking Butler, I think. There's also Casimero. But again, we're getting to this stage right now where at 118 pounds, there's just not that much for Inoue. And I believe he will be moving.
Already, he announced. Yeah, he announced he left the division.
There you go. So, hey, maybe next year, man, maybe by this time next year, we're going to be either giving him another honor roll or maybe a Stephen Fulton if he beats him, or if it's MJ. Who knows? But for this time being... Yes.
Oh, yeah, BD8. Just to mention, and I think it cost him 2 times. Like, when he got on the scale, he couldn't make weight, so he had to go on a 3rd time against Paul Butler, so he finally made the weight. That might be a telltale sign that he's ready to maybe move up, and if he does move up, it's okay for him.
Yeah, Gonzalez, he announced in the fight yesterday in the crowd, when he was doing the interview, he announced that this will be my last fight at 118. I am going to 122 pounds. My next fight will be at 122. And he wants Stephen Fulton, and he wants MJ. He wants the best. No, I don't believe the PBC will make that fight. And I believe wholeheartedly, to the point I would ghost my Twitter page if Fulton beats him.
Well,
if you get on the scale and you can't make the weight, you'll lose all your titles. I guess like on the 3rd time, you're done. So that's got to be kind of embarrassing, especially like since he criticized Neri for not making the weight. You don't certainly want to put yourself in that position where you're risking to lose everything. They're pretty honorable people. I don't think they roll like that.
Well, there you go, man. So there you have it. He's moving up, and Inoue now, I think it's the second. No, actually, no. Last year he didn't get it because he didn't do shit last year. But this year he comes back, knocks out Nonito Donaire in 2 rounds. Beats the crap out of Butler, gets all the titles, which is what people like nowadays, apparently. That's what they want. So, I mean, there's not much more he could have done at 118 pounds. He cleaned it out. He's like a boxing enema. He just cleaned that shit out. So, shout out to Naoya Inoue. And the future looks bright. He's got a good... Because, listen, when we give these designations, we also look at their support. Who is in their corner? Who's their manager, their promoter? This guy's got a co-promotional deal with Top Rank. His father is in his corner. His father certainly doesn't seem like a crazy figure, like a Teofimo Lopez Sr., for example, who's always trying to stick his face there in the camera. So the future continues to look bright for now.
And didn't he just sign some like $90 million contract in Japan, like some crazy endorsements? I mean, he's like the Michael Jordan of Japanese sports right now. He's a folk hero over there. So, yeah. He's living life.
Somebody say that it was 2 attempts, not 3. Yeah, it was 2 attempts. But there certainly will not be a 3rd. If you go on there a 3rd time and you cannot make it, you'll lose your titles.
Interesting. There you go, man.
Yeah, he went on there 2 times on the scale. You go on there 3 times, you don't make the weight, you're done.
He passed it by the skin of his balls, man. Let me tell you. All right. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. And we're probably going to be opening up the phone lines just so that we can take a couple of calls during the, just quick phone calls, just to, see if people agree or disagree with anything we're saying. But for the moment, let's go on. We've already given 2 honor rolls. Let's be very mindful that it's a high honor here, fellas. Not everybody can get it. So, let's okay. This is the first one that pops up here. Gary Russell Jr. Actually, it's just Gary Russell Jr. Fought once this year, got upset against Mark Magsayo. He blamed an injury, but he finally lost his title. One of the longest reigning because he only fought once a year since 2015 or something. He ended up losing, like I said, against Mark Magsayo, fellas.
He was the longest reigning champion in boxing up until the time he lost. So, yeah.
I would say probably fail because he freed up the division now. Like, he's not holding that belt hostage. I know he had a real rough year. Probably his father passed away and stuff. But in regards to like the ring, fighting inside the ring, I think it's just better that he's not champ for other people. You know, that title's freed up, so I'd say a fail. Because ultimately, he ends up fighting 1 year anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, I hate to give a guy a fail on the year his dad died because he was very close with his father. That does suck, but his brothers fought and they did well. At least one of them. And then again, if he said, did he break his hand or something? He fought that whole fight one-handed. But again, even if I wasn't going to give him a fail on that, say like I'm going to cut him slack and just give him a pass because his hand broke and he didn't quit, he stayed. To me, that's admirable. But the once a year thing, the 6 fights in 6 years is inexcusable, especially when there was fights to be made and they just didn't make them, whatever the reason be. He turned money down. We know now for a fact that they're not allowed to go anywhere Heyman doesn't want them to go. So he could never fight anybody from any other weight class. But yeah, overall, I'd say a fail. Lack of applying his trade.
You made the point when we did the episode after his loss to Maxaya. You said it's highly possible that the inactivity played a role in his injury. Because the body is not used to, if you're not fighting often, then the body's not used to that type of strain that you put out during a fight. Yes, you can spar 90-95% throughout the year, but fighting, that's 100%, and it does strain the body. And this guy, maybe his body finally withered, especially at his age. So that's on him too, man. So yeah, it's you guys said fail. I concur. I wholeheartedly concur. It's a fail.
Shame on you!
He doesn't get the Elgar song. He gets this again.
Shame on you!
That's right. All right, let's move on then. We're doing good time here, fellas. Let's keep it up. That's Gary O. Russell Jr. I don't know why I keep calling him O. Russell. It's not even funny. It's funny to me, but I mean, I'm going to drive people insane with this. All right, let's go with... let's go with another guy from the lower weight divisions. Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Remember, guys, it's Bam Rodriguez, not Bam Bam Rodriguez. Fellas, what say ye? A year in which he moved up in weight to fight and beat Cuadras, and then he beat Sorong Visay, and then he capped off the year by decisioning, a little bit tougher than expected, but still he came out the clear winner against Israel Gonzalez, who is a tough outing for anybody out there. Jimmy, I heard you say honor roll. Gonzalo?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to say honor roll as well.
God damn, we got 3 honor rolls already, man. Wow. See, that's when people say, oh, boxing sucks, blah, blah, blah. Look at how many people actually stepped up to the plate this year. You guys said that honor roll.
So, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead, BD.
No, go ahead.
No, so do you get to say it and we just chime in a little bit in regards to why we think, or
Absolutely.
So you're going to say honor roll or whatever first?
Well, if you want
then I go Jimmy and you?
If you want to, guys.
Throw it in.
Well, you start off, man. Yeah.
I'd say, well, just by the simple matter that, for the simple fact that he fought 3 times a year, that puts him in a category of its own. I mean, I know these smaller guys fight more often because they got to make more money, right? Or for whatever the reason, they just do. But I mean, 3 times, it's honorable. It's admirable. And the competition, two tough, gritty veterans. You could probably say that they're still at the top of their game. And one tough, rugged contender that he fought in his last performance. I mean, the guy was good. It was, like you said, tougher than expected. But he still won 3 of those fights. And he's very popular. Yeah, for sure. Honor roll. There
you go. It's an excellent breakdown right there, man. And may I add points too for the fact that he's an entertaining fighter. You know, he doesn't go out there and then I mean, he clinched a little bit against Sorong Visay, but other than that, it's he goes for the kill. He's got very good skills. He's trying to imitate Lomachenko, which I don't know how smart that would be, because I mean that's really dependent on physical talent as well. But I mean, he's got some nifty moves too, man.
I think what he does too, I know a lot of people talk about that and about the copying. I think what he does by studying, I think he's watching him for the angles, watching his feet, learning different things like that. I think what he's doing, he tries to implement it in his style. But yeah, and then let's not forget, he came off the bench too, wasn't he? Like, didn't he take that fight against Sorong Visay or Kudas, or Kardas, whatever his name is, in like a week's notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and
yeah, absolutely.
He moved up in weight to do it.
Yeah, so not only honor roll, probably like the fucking dean's list. In the category.
Hey, we gotta come up. Yeah, we gotta come up with that designation at the end of the episode. To go, okay, what out of all these guys, which one's is what do you call it? Dean's list? Yeah. But all right, so there you go. Honor roll. Cue the music. There you go. That's Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Must see TV. Hopefully, more young fighters live up to his example, or follow his example rather, because he really is an interesting fighter to watch. All right. Doing good time here, fellas. Loving it. Let me just get rid of the picture here. We're still in the... Yeah, we're going to go in order here. With the... well, not necessarily order, because we already did Gary Russell, which is in a higher... He's in a higher weight class. But hey, we can't all get honor rolls here. Let's go with... Who should we go with next? That's a good question here. Who else is in these lower weight divisions? Let me check here, fellas. Give me 2 seconds. Don't forget to hit the like. You know what? You just reminded me that I forgot to include MJ in this one. Actually, okay, hold on. Let me go with... Fuck, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, let's go with Fulton right off the bat. He's 122, right? 122 pounds. Stephen Fulton, undefeated. He beat the always tough. What's his name again? He's so tough. I forgot his name. Who did he beat again? The Mexican dude, Mexican American. Let me check. Miguel Roman. Excuse me, Daniel Roman. Excuse me, my apologies, Daniel Roman. Now, bear in mind, last year Fulton had an honor roll because he beat the undefeated Angelo Leo in a tough outing, but which he had boxing skills. Then against Figueroa, he fought on the inside. Off the ropes, of course, sometimes, but he showed that he's a multidimensional fighter. That was an honor roll from him, even though the fight was very, very close, but still, that was 2 undefeated fighters that he beat that year. This time, he fought in June against Roman, showed an array of skills, good footwork, a good jab. That was his only fight of the year, though, so what do we give him then?
Pass.
Do you want to say, do you want to clarify?
One time a year.
Now, do you guys want to clarify and say low pass or high pass, or you know what I mean?
I would just say pass. You fight once a year, fucking pass, unless you dominate the guy. And he did so. Yeah, okay, I'll throw a high pass if it makes a difference, but just a pass. He's not going to get on a roll because you're not going to fight once a year and make on a roll.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say high pass too, because he's pretty popular and his career had gained some momentum, but fighting once will stall that momentum. So I'm gonna say a high pass because there might be other fighters that are only fought once on this list, and I don't want to seem biased where I give them regular pass and I give other fighters a high pass when it comes to only fighting once a year, because he's highly touted. So we're just gonna say that he's highly touted, he's undefeated, and that's what it is.
Well, listen, that's a good way of putting it there, Gonzalo, because this guy, he's considered Inoue's biggest threat. Like I said, last year we gave him the honor roll because of he fought 2 undefeated guys and beat him. And look, this year he beat Daniel Roman, who's an excellent fighter himself, although some could argue that he didn't look all that hot against Payano prior to that. And then before the Payano fight, MJ had already beaten him. So, and then he retired. So it almost seems as if he had one foot out the door. But I'm not going to look too much into that. Roman is an excellent boxer, and Fulton just outboxed him. It was like a 9-3, 10-2 fight, maybe even more, if I remember the fight correctly. So, yeah, man, I agree with Gonzalo. I'm not going to give him too much of a high pass, but he did what he had to. And look, is it his fault that he's with the PBC? Partly, yeah, because a lot of these guys got bamboozled by the PBC hype, and now they're paying the price fighting once a year if they're lucky. But look, he did what he had to do. He got himself that win, and he seems to have a good support with him over there in Philadelphia. Must have had plenty of sparring as well. So it's going to be hard for him to be rusty if he's getting good sparring. So we'll give him a pass. Give him a pass. Nothing exceptional, but he made it.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
There you go. That's the That's the pass designation. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about Fulton? What the year holds for him?
Well, I gave him a high pass because the momentum. I mean, undefeated, very popular. But like I said, I don't want to give him a regular pass because I might give other fighters that have only fought once a year a high pass as well. So if I give him a pass only, then I give another fighter that's only fought once a high pass. That's going to seem a little bit. Well, that's just my opinion. I'm just going to give him a high pass. So I don't know if Jimmy had a high pass. I would put him 2 high passes to 1 pass.
All right. I'm giving him a. No, Jimmy said regular. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy. Sorry.
No, I didn't say nothing, but I will. I'll say, I gave him a regular pass.
Okay,
once a year. I'm done with fucking crediting guys for not, being a part-time fighter. You know what I mean? I'm done with it. Also, got to say, side note, I just read that, I'm done with him now. Like, fuck him. David Benavidez re-signed with Sam Lukowitz, the big fight destroyer. Yep.
Well, look, Lukowitz. I give Lukowitz credit though because he's not a total fucking idiot. I mean, he had Martinez, right? Sergio Martinez about 15 years ago, and he took him a good long way. And I think there's other fighters that he's managed properly. Or he's a promoter or a manager. What is he?
He's both. He's a promoter and a manager. Basically, right now he's being used by Al Heyman for his license, like the Tom Brown. He just surrounds himself, guys, with promoter licenses because he's not a promoter. He's just an advisor. Mm-hmm. So he uses their licenses. And Tom Brown also lost. He just lost that. The bid to Top Rank. Oh no, the Golden Boy. To Tom Brown. He just lost to Golden Boy Tom Brown Promotions to the who fights for Golden Boy? Yes, Stanionis. Yes, yep.
All right. Well, listen, we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that when we get to those fighters because right now we got a long way to go. But then if that's true, Jimmy, then that's on Samson Lukowitz for aligning himself with a promotional entity or an organization that can get their fighters any fight. So, I mean, that's bizarre, man. Let's go to, hold on. By the way, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. And let us know in the chat if you want us to open up the phone lines and if you want to chime in some of the stuff we've been, our list and how we've compiled it so far. So let us know in the chat. Well, okay, let's see. Oh, hey, listen, I forgot this dude. Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards, who's a weird-looking character. He said it himself because apparently a lot of people make fun of his appearance on the Twitter. He just beat Gutierrez in a fantastic performance of boxing. He blocked those body shots like it was nobody's business. Excuse me, Felix Alvarado. He didn't beat Gutierrez. Alvarado. He outboxed Alvarado, who was on a tear. And then earlier this year, he also outboxed Mohamed Wasim, who gave him an interesting fight as well. Now he's calling out Martinez. Some people say maybe even like a Bam Rodriguez, or maybe if some of the guys in the lower weight divisions like Kuraguchi or Teraji want to step up. That's possible. But what do you guys think about Sonny Edwards? What should we give him?
I'll give him a high pass.
Yeah, me too. I'll give him a high pass.
Yeah, his name is getting out there. For a guy maybe that doesn't crack that hard, he keeps on winning, so the opinions on him are becoming better, just all around.
Yeah,
yep. And I give credit for the multiple fights in a year. So right now I'll give him a high pass. That's
where we're at now, man. If a guy fights more than once a year, that's we're giving him credit. But listen, with Edwards, man, he's got very good footwork, man. Now he's not must-see TV. Don't get me wrong. The Alvarado fight, there was a point where it's like, all right, Alvarado clearly can't cut the ring off that well. And he was telegraphing those body shots. It was, if you're going to go, he's got an excellent hook. He's got excellent power, Alvarado. But he was going 1-2, left hook. 1-2, left hook to the body. You got to fucking mix it up. Feint, double up on the left hook, up and down, or up and down, or down and up. It's like, no, he wasn't doing any of that. And Sonny Edwards, you could tell he did his homework. I'm going to agree with you guys. I'm going to give him a high pass because he didn't beat any of the other stellar names in his division. Martinez, some people might say he's not a stellar fighter, but hey, he's at the top there at 100 and 112 pounds at flyweight. Julio Martinez. There's potential fights with Mike Williams Arroyo. Like I said, maybe if some of the guys from 108 pounds move up. Although I think Teraji, we forgot to mention, Teraji's probably going to be fighting Jonathan Gonzalez, who fought on his undercard and defeated the another tough Japanese boxer. So I think it was Iwata. So that I don't know if that's going to happen. So I think what Sonny Edwards has been clamoring for is a Julio Cesar Martinez fight. I wouldn't be too hyped for that because Martinez showed us in his last fight that he sort of struggles with good footwork. But hey, listen, fucking Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez, maybe? That would be something, man. Could get him at the honor roll next year if he beats Bam Rodriguez. Why not? But for the moment, like you said, pass. Also, I gotta take points away because when you're dealing with some of the guys on this list and they're doing it in an entertaining fashion, and this guy's just moving around. Again, if he doesn't hit hard, I mean, that's not always a fighter's fault. Some guys have it, some guys don't. But I do take points away for his style. But hey, listen, in terms of accomplishments, it was a good pass, man. Did you guys say high pass or low or just pass?
Just say high pass.
High pass. All right.
High pass.
High pass. There you go. Okay, I'll go along with that. High pass.
Oh, good for you. And
There you
how
go.
was it?
It was fantastic, and he gets a pass then. All right. By the way, what did people say in the chat? Do we open up the phone lines, or are you guys okay with... hold on, let me see. Joe Dirt.
Do what you gotta
Never
do.
Silver. Never Silver calls him UK's Joe Dirt. Poor Sonny Edwards, man. Come on, man. These guys are vicious, man.
Show dirt.
Oh, man. Larry Liston says Sonny is decent, but Bam will expose him. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think that's a good fight, or do you think Bam just walks through him?
I don't know if he'd walk through him because it'd be hard to catch because I don't think he'd stand in front of him. He'd have to work to get to him. But yes, I think Bam would beat his ass.
Oh.
I think Sonny Edwards has surprised people. I think he's gotten a lot out of his skills.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Do you know what's going to hurt him, though? Like you said, the punching power. 4 knockouts out of, 19 wins? So, once you fight the cream of the crop, that could I mean, just look at Zandor Martin. Excellent boxing skills, but if he had just a little bit more pop and more confidence, he could have pulled that Teofimo Lopez win more convincingly. Instead, he failed and got the fight taken away from him. What else was I going to say? A shout out to Abuela, who says, cheers, uploading a new video for y'all in 20 minutes. I took Ross Amber's bet. What is that, Ross Amber's bet? I'm curious. Alonzo Amazing says Sean Newton would be great on the BD pad. Well, shout out to Sean Newton. I mean, he's an excellent broadcaster as well. It's a time difference. He's over there in Taiwan. And I've gone on his show a couple of times. Well, on the chat at least. So I don't know if he has panels anymore. I think he used to have a panel at some point. But shout out to Sean Newton. Check him out, fellas. Fantastic channel. Superstar Donic says Bam is a good favorite, but Edwards will go in and try. He definitely will. I mean, he'll like Jimmy said. So good luck catching up to this guy because he's got excellent footwork and he's just a rabbit in there. A rabbit. Reverend Pickle says we should all be drinking eggnog to keep it Christmassy. Hey, listen, I'm gonna get tanked before the end of the year. First time I've ever gotten tanked on the air. It's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. All right, let's move on here, fellas. Let's get serious for a moment. Who else? Well, we were done with the 122. Hold on, am I missing somebody from the lower weight divisions here? All right, let's go with this guy. This is the only guy.
Puma?
Nah, not Puma. He didn't really do much. Let's go with Mauricio Lara, who I believe we gave him a pass last year for upsetting Josh Warrington. And he had a war earlier this year on the zone against a Mexican fighter whose name escapes me right now. Let me just check the list here. But he's a power puncher. He's entertaining. He comes to fight. He's got balls, huevos, cojones, however you want to say it. This guy is must-see TV. It's a loaded division. So the prospects for a... What the fuck? The prospects for a honor roll next year are high. But listen, let's stick to this year. Who did he fight this year? He fought Emilio Sanchez in the aforementioned war that I mentioned you. He stopped him in the 3rd round. And then he just recently took on Jose San Martin, who was another power puncher. Took him out also in concussive fashion. Fellas, not the best opposition, but he got it done. He fought twice this year, and he got it done in style with knockouts. What do you guys think? Where are we going with this?
I'm gonna say regular pass. He's kind of gone fucked over. One, for the fight he had against the guy that just who was that guy? The guy like Josh Warrington. Because to heal from those type of injuries, it takes some time. So you're not gonna fight as often as you probably could if you didn't have that injury. And his local promoters, I don't know, like the what is that fucking guy, man? His local promoter that gets him in contact with the promoters from the USA.
Oh,
maybe they're kind of fucking him over because who's that?
Is it Beltran or who is it?
I don't think it's Beltran because Beltran operates more like in Baja California.
Oh, okay.
It must be somebody else from like that side of the Mexican Republic. But yeah, something's going on there that he's not fighting as often as he probably could have, or have the exposure that he should, because he's obviously popular. He's a power puncher. But like I mentioned, that injury and the fact that he's not getting that notoriety is affecting him. So just regular pass.
Regular pass. Move on.
Mega Man in the chat says, Lara equals putazos. Yeah, putazos, chingazos, madrazos. This guy brings it all, man. He's must-see TV. Even when he's fighting nondescript opposition, I'm thinking, who cares, man? He's going to knock somebody out, or someone's going to get to him. Because, what's his name? Sanchez hurt him in that fight in the beginning of the year. So it's must-see TV for sure. But, like you guys said, I'm going to go ahead and give him a pass. But look, the future looks bright, man. He looks like he comes in shape. Yeah.
Did we already do this? Did we already do the smaller guys like Chocolatito and Estrada? Did we do that in the last show?
Oh shit! I forgot this. Hold on a sec. I forgot Estrada. Thank you for. I knew I had missed somebody. But anyway, let's finish up with Lara here first. So yeah, Lara. Yep. He's got to next year.
I just give regular pass for now.
Okay.
I'm not putting him on a high. Just a pass.
I agree. I'm going to give him a pass as well, but the future looks bright for Lara in that 126-pound division.
Oh, good for you.
There you go. We're going to give him a pass. See, I knew we'd forgotten somebody. All right, let's go to Estrada. El Gallito Estrada, who had a chaotic, tumultuous, dare I say, rocky year, mercurial, if you will. But he ended up beating. Okay, so he struggled against Adhis. I forget his nickname. Looked like he was shot. Looked to be in a dire straits if he was gonna fight one of the best fighters of all time in Chocolatito Gonzalez. Then he steps up against Chocolatito and beats him. Perhaps the first one it was clear for Gonzalez. The second one was close, but I think it was Gonzalez should have received it. But this time, Estrada got himself a clear win. Fellas, what do you think?
I'll give him a regular pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going now, I guess. Or you go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I was going to say high pass, brother, only because he beat Chocolatito, just for having that name in your resume. And it's the first one I'd actually say you could give it to him. He absolutely lost the second and first fight. So I'm going to give him a high pass, not an honor roll, because I don't think the fight was that exciting, to be honest with you.
Well, Fluffy Toasters 89 disagrees with you, fellas. He says, honor roll. Gallo exposed Choco 2-1. I mean, I don't know. Listen, all the fights were competitive. The first one, even though Chocolatito, I think he won it, Estrada gave him a very tough fight. Back when Gonzalez was looking invincible and tearing through everybody. Out of nowhere comes Estrada, gives him a very tough fight. Then the second one, it was closer, obviously, than the first, but I still thought it was clear. But I give Estrada a lot of, because look, a lot of people are talking about, Chocolatito might be old, blah, blah, blah. I want to give Estrada tons of credit for the fact that he looked like shit a couple of months ago, and he only had October and November right off the bat to train, very little time off from that tune-up, and then he goes in there and looks much better than he did in September. I mean, more people should be talking about how this guy turned it around. So, I'm not going to give him an honor roll, though, because, again, 2 fights, but the first one, he really did struggle. Even though we know that wasn't the real Estrada, he still struggled. You know, you got to give Adhi credits. So
just a high pass. High pass.
And I don't think that Chocolatito's the same either. He's obviously the skills the skills didn't erode. The skills are always going to be good. It's just the fact that he's 35 and he's slowing down. It had to take him a little bit to get going. So once, he put the D40 on his on fucking joints and got going. He ended up winning the second half of the fight against Gallo Estrada. I'm not saying that he won the fight because Gallo did more work, and I think he ultimately Gallo won the 12th round. He hurt him to the body. He hurt Chocolatito Gonzalez to the body. So I still think he did better work in the second half. So I'm kind of taking a little bit away from Estrada's all around performance, because that fight against Arigui Cortez, he didn't perform that good either. But this one he did win, but I'm just saying it wasn't the same Chocolatito. And now there's other fighters in the division that could probably be rated higher than Chocolatito. I think maybe that guy in the beginning, Franco's brother. But we'll see. I'm just going to give him a regular pass.
But hold on. Let's stick with that. Now that we gave Estrada a pass, he's always, well, not always, but he's connected to Gonzalez. We got Chocolatito, who had a good win against Martinez, younger fighter, very, very good power puncher, and he just, slammed him round after round with superior technique combinations. Then he loses against Estrada, and he gave it a very good effort against Estrada. It's not like he got schooled in there and lost every round, whatever. But he did lose, so he went 1-1. Well, what do you guys think about Chocolatito?
Pass.
I'm just gonna give him a damn it, man. He was on a roll before, after getting knocked out, and his trainer died. He had been winning. He gave it his all, but he's clearly eroded a little bit. Not eroded, but just gotten older.
Eroded, bro. Yeah, you're honest. Keep it honest, man. Keep it 100. Yeah, no, he's eroded. His skills eroded. His punches doesn't have the same snap on them anymore. He's not fighting on the top, on the balls of his feet like he used to. I think his skills have actually eroded a lot. But that's how talented he is. He could lose a lot in erosion and still be a dominant type of fighter. But yeah, just a regular pass.
It's like his skills he's never going to throw a punch out of place, out of position. He's not going to throw a white hook. He's always going to throw the correct type of punches, but they're just not going to have the same speed and power because he's not the same. What I'm saying is that the integrity of his fighting style is always going to be pristine. He's the perfect operator in the ring, but it's not at the same speed and with the same usefulness. So yeah. That's what I meant by that. So yeah, it could be considered eroded.
Well, there you go, man. Listen, fantastic career. It just came up short, and he still could do something next year. He still could beat a lot of these other guys. But I don't know. He looks tired too. Maybe after he's been at the top or fighting top position since 2008, I believe. So man, that's a long time, man.
He needs to go open a car dealership and just fucking hang him up.
There you go, man. There you go. So we gave him a pass. And he's got nothing to be ashamed of this year, but he came up short, man. 1-1. And Estrada, like I said, he should be receiving more credit than he currently does. This guy is it seems like he's always in the shadow of Chocolatito, even if he manages to beat him. But those two are excellent fighters, and I look forward to see what happens with both of them 2023. Okay, guys, remind me, did we miss... Well, somebody mentioned in the chat Ioka, but Ioka's fighting on the 31st, right at the end of the year, so we can't really judge him yet. He's one of those guys that we're going to have to leave out. But if he wins, I'll just say right off the bat, a pass, because he beat an old Donny Nietes. Eventually he's lost, but Nietes was half retired guy. And but at least he beat him. And then if he gets a win over Franco, who's a very tough contender too, that's certainly a pass. Now, if he knocks Franco out, though, hey, I don't know. Some could make the argument that it's a honor roll. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with Ioka. In the meantime, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Spread that BDA gospel. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Well, let's go with the guy that just
Leo
fought.
Santa Cruz.
Hold on a second. Let's go with a guy that just fought here last week. Luis Alberto El Venado Lopez. He fought 3 times this year. 3 times. Now, the first 2 guys he beat were they're nothing to really write home about, but he knocked him out. Then he travels to England and takes on Josh Warrington, wins the early rounds, survives some rocky moments late in the fight and some headbutts as well to take home a, majority decision? Or split decision? Yeah. So, fellas, what say ye?
Majority, yeah.
I give him a high pass because he went to England to do it, but I wasn't overly impressed.
Yeah. I'm going to give high pass as well. I mean, yeah, some rounds were closer in the end, but just to put it into context, all the stuff that he had to go through, fighting over there with those people against him and all the fouling that Josh Warrington did, and that cut that he sustained on early, especially, he did what he needed. He fought 3 times as well, so he went over to England. Yeah, I give him a high pass.
There you go, man. Listen, I'm going to give him a high pass as well, based on the fact that he's a power puncher. Even though he's got good reflexes, he fights very unorthodox, which would indicate that he's probably more comfortable as a counter puncher. He tries to walk guys down too, though. Now, I'm cringing there when he does it with his hands down and his fucking chin up in the air. But man, he's entertaining. So I give him points for trying, and I give him points for going there and fighting Warrington. And not a lot of experience either, as a professional or as an amateur for that matter. So and fighting, staying busy too. He didn't just say, "Oh well, let me wait as a mandatory for the Warrington fight." He stayed busy, man, 3 times this year total. So he goes in with 2023 with momentum, and like I mentioned earlier when we looked at Lara, jam-packed division. You got Lara, you got Santa Cruz coming back. You've got who else? I said Lara. Oh, Lee Wood, who's another guy with tons of balls who can also crack. So it's a good division, man. He's poised to maybe earn a honor roll next year if he plays his cards correctly. So that's Venado Lopez earning himself a high pass.
Oh, good for you. And
There we go. Anything else you guys want to say about him? Couple of comments, maybe.
Yeah, just looking forward. See if he has some improvements regarding that in regards to his defense.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking forward to that. I mean, he is a power puncher. He did break his hand, I believe, his right hand, and Warrington fight. But that's my belief. If you break your hand, that's just kind of your fault. I mean, I know the other guy was dirty, and a little bit could have been attributed to that. But yeah, you break your hand, you need to take care of your hands. I mean, if it's because your opponent blocked it or you hit him in the wrong spot, you can't be complaining, "Oh, I broke my fucking hand," like other fighters do. I'm not really knocking him for that. I'm just saying a lot of times he goes for the knockout, but this time he couldn't get it. So I'm looking forward for him to still continue having that, like they say, that dog in him, where he's going for the knockouts, because that's something that we have to appreciate nowadays. Like you said, no BDA.
That's right.
You gotta admire a guy that's always going for the knockout, but he needs to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, high pass.
As a high pass, there you go. Yeah, as a customer, I always appreciate when a guy gives it his all in there. Hey, speaking of Luis Alberto Lopez, how about Josh Warrington? Because he beat Kiko Martinez, knocked him out. Surprisingly knocked him out, because he's not that type of guy. But then ended up losing against Lopez. He gave it his all in the fight. And when I say all, I mean hands and head. What do you guys say?
Pass.
Look at that smile, man. Look at that smile. It's fucking cynical. It's kind of like, what's that dude? The black dude, Shakur Stevenson. But the English version.
Oh, you mean sneaky, like Weasley?
Just look at that face. It's the guy that you would want to have like in that sink tank, the water tank where you hit him with the ball and he falls inside the water.
What the fuck are you on about?
Like, come on, I'm talking about. He's fucking kind of cringe. Nah, man, the dude's a fucking...
Yeah.
The dude's dirty, man. The dude's dirty. That's all I have to say. That's a fail for me.
Gonzalo doesn't like Warrington. He doesn't like his style. He doesn't appreciate the cheating. I gotta commend Gonzalo for that. Jimmy, what do you think? Fail, pass?
What did Gonzalo give him?
Ah, come on! Don't worry about what Gonzalo gave.
No, I was just curious. What did he give him? I know what I'm giving. I'm just giving him a straight pass because he did win once.
Mm-hmm.
I just gave him a fail because he hit Lara. I don't know if that was last year, but still, man. Kiko Martinez, I was watching the fight versus El Venado with the Spanish commentary on the zone. And I'm talking about the Spaniards, not the Mexican telecast. And they were really talking down to this guy because he had done the same, apparently, to Kiko Martinez. I don't recall watching that fight, but apparently against Kiko Martinez, he did kind of the same thing.
What, the headbutting? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, headbutting.
Oh, yeah, no, vicious headbutter. I don't, but you know what I mean? A lot of guys do it. A lot of guys headbutt. I just don't think he does it good. He can't hide it. There's a lot of guys who headbutt, you know, use their head. It's just he's very flagrant about it. And that's because of home cooking. He's fighting there in Leeds. The referee was on his side. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him a pass because he did beat Martinez. I'm not going to give him a fail on that, but I'm not going to give him a high pass. So I'm down on him.
Yeah, I mean, and in regards to the headbutting, I think I heard that the broadcasters during the telecast say that I think Galahad or Frampton had complained about those headbutts as well. So it's certainly not a one-time thing there with the headbutts. It's recurring, and you know, like Gonzalez said, you know, sometimes some people can look at the it's you know, intentional or it's his style. I don't know, man. I just don't like. I don't like him. I don't like dirty fighters. Is what I'm saying. So I'm gonna concur with you fellas, and I'm gonna give him a pass, just a pass.
Yeah,
I mean
I gave him a fail, but yeah, if you give him a pass, okay, I got it.
I'll give him. I understand why, but listen, because you and Jimmy made good points. Jimmy, you know, you're saying, look, he's a dirty ass fighter. Plus, he got a loss, failed the motherfucker. Jimmy's saying, well, look, at least he got himself a win, and it was by stoppage, by the way, against the tough Kiko Martinez. So. You know, I can understand the pass too. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a pass because also he lost to Lopez, but he really did try to come on strong late in the fight. So it's not like he completely botched it in there. He didn't fuck it up. He didn't throw in the towel. I'm gonna give him a pass. Just hey, listen, he did what he had to do. It didn't work out for him. He fought a tough guy in Lopez. Give him a pass. Nothing extraordinary. Okay. And it's a low pass too because
I think he quit against Lara too. I think he quit against Lara. That's why he led with the head. Because he knew in his heart that he couldn't compete against Mauricio Lara. He said, fuck it, I'm just going to hit him with the headbutt.
Same thing in the Warrington fight. It was right after Warrington, right after Lopez caught him with a stiff jab and gave him a fucking goofy leg, kind of gave him a stiff leg, like you could tell the jab affected him. It was literally right after that he came in with his head and bashed and cut him open. So, yeah, and again, Kiko Martinez, he stopped him, but Kiko Martinez is a shell of himself, you know. It's kind of, he really never. Who was Kiko Martinez? I mean, he's a tough guy. I mean, but is he really kind of a has-been or really never was?
Yeah, that's true. That's
true. Honest.
I'm still gonna give him a low pass though. Just you know, listen, he lost. That's on him. But at least he had a 1 year. A little bit like a little bit, not that same, not the same thing, but a little bit like with Chocolatito, where. Yeah, he lost, but the way he lost and the fact that he did have one win, I'm going to give him a low pass. Let's go to, and don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to a very weird looking fella, but a heck of a fighter, if you ask me. Rey Vargas, undefeated. He beat the always dangerous Mark Magsayo, who's a good counterpuncher with power. He's the guy, Magsayo, in case you weren't watching boxing, he's the guy that upset Kambosos Jr. And then Vargas comes in and outboxes Magsayo. But he only fought once this year. So keep that in mind. Fellas, what say ye?
High pass.
I mean, that's the thing, yeah. Going back to fighting once a year only, I'm just going to give him a pass. Could have been a high pass. I'm just going to give him a pass. He did pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
Jimmy, you want
to... somebody said.
Yeah, the passos. Jimmy, you want to add something to that?
Well, I'd give him a high pass because he did take out that dude who, you know what I mean? He came in and took out, was it...
the Manny Pacquiao fighter?
Russell.
Jimmy?
Yeah. Although, I mean, I don't think any of those guys are really as good as they were being touted for, but still, I'll give him a high pass. He's undefeated. He's exciting to watch. So I'll give him a high pass.
Here's the other thing.
I heard he stopped working with Nacho Beristain, BDA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no more. They parted ways.
Wow. That's maybe he doesn't like Nacho's overbearing ways. I don't know, man. Well, it'll be interesting to see who he hooks up with, but he's a very good fighter, very tall for his weight class, so he uses that to his advantage with his speed and explosiveness. And He's got what they call that aggressive slick style. It's not the American slick style, which the abbreviation is ASS, but this guy's got an aggressive edge to him. So, listen, I'm going to give him a pass, not a high pass. He only fought once, and I mean, that's his fault for aligning himself with the PBC. So, I'm going to give him a pass, man. If he would have fought more often with that Magsayo, he would have added to that Magsayo. Maybe he would have gotten an honor roll, but as it stands, he didn't do that. So, we're going to give him a pass. And hopefully he puts on his big boy pants on and tries to get more than one fight next year. But yeah, man, that's Rey Vargas right there. Some people say he's a ghoulish looking character. I'm not gonna go into that. I don't judge people that way. All right, let's go to. All right, let's go to another guy from these lower weight divisions. Emmanuel Navarrete, a guy that really just trounces people. He's, people like to talk about Boogeyman. This is the guy that I wouldn't want to get into the ring with because he's just so awkward and he delivers beatings. Now, in his last fight, one and only fight, by the way, he shook off the Rostov because he had a layoff. Well, how long was the layoff, by the way? Let me check. Okay, so in 2021, he fought Joel Gonzalez in October. And it wasn't until August of this year that he took on Eduardo Baez, didn't look as dominant as he did in the first couple of rounds, and then he took Baez out with a body shot. He saved himself what could have been a long, complicated fight. Fellas, what say ye for Emmanuel Navarrete?
I'm going to give him a pass. Just a regular pass.
Just a regular pass. Inactivity, too. When he only fight once this year.
I'm tempted to give him. I was tempted to give him a fail, man. Now, hear me out here. Inactivity, struggles against bias, and the fact that it all stems, or it could stem from the fact that he hasn't been taking boxing all that seriously during the layoff. There's rumors that he's into the party lifestyle. He's a wild guy too. He's one of those kids that had to go into boxing because he was. I don't know. Didn't you hear that? I mean, I think they talked about it a little bit on the Morales podcast, didn't they?
I don't think it was that. I think he's just he had some promotional issues with Fernando Beltran, and so he separated himself from that guy. Now he's working directly with Top Rank, but I think that he feels that he should get paid more than what he has gotten in the past. So he's got one foot out the door. I'm not too sure about the partying, but he's just kind of like semi-retired, I guess, in his mind. He doesn't really love boxing. And another thing, he's missing that marquee name. He should get a better name. It's always like the Ruben Villas, the Vacas of the world, like the grandson of the Filipino, the Flashy Lourdes nephew, the Baez. Baez don't got a lot of power. He's missing that real fucking marquee name to add value to his stock.
Right. I mean, the closest he got to that was. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was going to say, he left Top Rank, I assumed, to get better fights or do something. He left Top Rank and went fucking AWOL. It's like, why'd you leave Top Rank? You know what I mean? To fight nobody? It's just, the more I think about it, I'm tempted to give him a fail, too. Because I expected a lot more from him. But should that be a criteria? I don't know. That's for smarter people.
I mean, I don't know.
Now he's probably vacating 126, and I think he's moving up to 30.
Well,
that style's going to be a little bit more compromised because he gets the stoppages in the latter half. And from when he went from 22 to 26, that started becoming a little bit more telling. So now at 26 to 30, when he was knocking dudes out in the 11th and people were throwing in the towel in the 12th, he might end up going the distance now. And I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point because first of all, he was slated to fight Valdez this February or January, I believe, which was a fight that I was looking forward to. But Valdez pulled out some sort of hand injury, I believe. Or I don't know what injury he had, but he's injured and he's not going to be fighting. So they're going to replace Valdez, with some British guy, I think, or some guy I've never heard of. I'd have to watch his fights because, again, it's not about the record. It's about the performances themselves. But I'm not excited for that. And Valdez really needs to get his act together. And like you said, Gonzalo, it's it's going to be hard for him because at 122, he was a monster. 126, at least he was beating guys up. And look, listen, he was beating them up better than Shakur Stevenson was. A lot of the common opponents like Pitufo, what's his name? El Pitufo and Joed Gonzalez too. I mean, he's fucked those guys up. But now, though, he seems like you said, he seems like he's not taking it seriously. He only fought once. Okay, so Gonzalo, you said pass. Jimmy, you said fail. No, excuse me, you said pass, but you said you wanted to reconsider. You want to reconsider, or you want to stick to your original determination?
Yeah, no, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm very disappointed with Navarrete. He was one of my fucking must-see type of guys, you know. In the last 2 years, since he left Top Rank, I'm completely disappointed with him. So I'm going to go with the old, fuck you, fail, bang.
Oh.
How do you like me now?
Oh. School's back in session. Gonzalo, what did you say again?
I'd say pass. Okay, for one, he was slated to fight Valdez, so that was a pretty good fight because of the styles. And okay, yeah, that would have been a good fight. But now that dude fell off. It's not his fault. But then he gets replaced with another fighter that I've never heard that adds on to the list of already, like I mentioned, the Francisco de Vacas of the world and those type of fighters, Flashy Lorde's nephew. That I don't know who this British dude is. Apparently, he got a title now. It's like I never heard of that guy before.
Yeah,
and I'm always kind of like following boxing. Where do they dig these dudes from? Where do they find them? You know what I mean?
You're
so it's not his fault, but still, it's just kind of more like whatever.
Eventually he's gonna start fighting somebody. Yeah, I mean, enough with the fucking beating up the Johnny Come Latelys.
That's right. He said that Martini, man.
Yeah, bad. So fuck, fail.
Dude, he's one of my favorite fighters, actually, but with all that expectation, it's kind of not lining up with what I want to see from him.
And hit him with the fail.
He's acting. He's been a little diva too as well. But
all right,
hit him with the fail.
I'm not really, because that wasn't his fault. What's his name? Valdez felt.
Are you happy right now in 2022? Are you happy with Navarrete?
No. Okay, just give him a fail. Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
you're right.
Jimmy convinced Gonzalo. Jimmy fucking we're gonna call Jimmy the negotiator from now on. He persuades people. It's the power of persuasion. You know what? Jimmy convinced me. I'm gonna go with a fail too, man. I'm going with my gut. Like Jimmy, that's a good lesson to learn. Go with your gut sometimes. He got that win, but again, you gotta give the context. This guy only fought once. He struggled, and there's rumors that he's not taking it that seriously. Fail. Oh, hold on a second. Fail. We got to.
Shame on you!
There you go.
Hey, I gotta ask, Gonzalo, is that your son? Your avatar? Is that your boy?
Yeah, that's my son.
Holy shit! Look at how old he looked in that picture. I wasn't expecting that. With the fade and everything, I just wanted to say, yeah, no shit. Wow, he went from like little baby to toddler to like Christ. They grow up fast, brother. Anyway, sorry for the distraction. I've been looking at that picture all night, and I'm like, is that his son with the fade?
He's gonna be
big boy haircuts.
He's gonna be shaving real soon, man. All right, hold on a second.
Yeah, but I'm proud because there was another kid at the barber shop, his age, and he was crying. And then when I took him in there, like this time around, he wanted to cry, but I told him, no, don't cry, and he stopped crying. So, I mean, that's good.
Fucking Gonzalez, the Marine boot camp instructor. You puke, you maggot, why are you crying? It's like, jeez Louise.
You cry and I'll give you something to cry for.
Oh, yeah, how many times did we hear that when we were growing up?
Oh, my God. I used to think that was my name.
All right, let's move on. By the way, shout out to Michael Poe for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Michael Poe. Always appreciate his support. He says, "What's up, mother?" Whoa, everyone, hello.
Oh.
He was gonna swear there. He was gonna swear there, and then at the last minute decided not to. So shout out to Michael Poe. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Don't forget to hit the like. The phone lines, I tried opening them, but with the connection issues, started to fuck everything up. So let's read a couple of comments here. Chidlin says, "Do a DNA test, Gonzalo." Oh, come on. Box screen says, Gonzalo, how's Lobito? How is Lobito doing? That's a good question.
Yeah, he's always outside. He's doing good.
Well, there you go. Floyd972 says, Haney still boxes nobody and is a giant for his division and can't even put people on the ground. I feel once he boxes talent, he will be exposed. Oh! Sergeant IVV says, William Zepeda look good this year? We're going to get to Zepeda, Camarón. Padokua says, Jimmy the bully. Come on, he's not bullying people. He's just, like I said, the power of persuasion. What do you want from him? Reverend Pickle says, he was great to watch, talking about Navarrete, but this year's been a bitch for boxing. He should sign back up with Bob and come. Well, he's still with Bob Arum. What happened was he was AWOL. He was boxing with the PBC for a while there. And that's when he fought a bunch of no-name Filipinos. So, yeah, that's he needs to get his act together. That's for sure. All right, let's continue on with the list here. Let's go to 130 pounds here with the aforementioned Shakur Stevenson. For a lot of people, the sky is the limit with the reflexes, hand speed, and skills he's got. He got 2 wins this year. Outboxed Oscar Valdez and then outboxed, what's his name, Conceição. That's 2 undefeated fighters. Although, I mean, Valdez shouldn't have been undefeated. But he got himself those 2 wins. Guys.
On a roll. On a roll for me.
Okay, I'm waiting for, I don't know if Gonzalez is going to jump in if you want to.
Who are we talking about? Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, man, I'm just going to give him a regular pass. The way he was going down low to the below the belt, I mean, some people counted over 70 low blows. This fucking guy, man, I'm serious. He was Valdez this year in the beginning of the year? Yes.
Yep.
Give him a high pass, but not an honor roll.
Well,
I'm not crucifying him for the body blows. I mean, the low blows. A lot of them right at the waist because that dude was headbutting the fuck out of him too, and so he was just fucking paying him back. I thought the other dude was, it was a 2-way street, but he still beat a kid who a lot of people thought was actually going to give him a hard fight. A lot of people. I mean, most people had that fight 50-50. Some other people were even pulling for the other dude, thought the other dude would beat him. And then he fought also, I understand he shouldn't be undefeated, but he was. So he beat 2 undefeated fighters. So Shakur Stevens, for me, he's on my honor roll this year. I know that's not popular with a lot of people, but you know what? Suck my big left nut.
I'm going to concur with Gonzalo. I'm going to give him a pass. And, some people could say, well, wait a minute. They look at it on paper. They go, he beat 2 undefeated. Well, actually, excuse me. Conceição was undefeated. What am I talking about? He got a loss against Valdez. That should have been a win. Nevertheless, Valdez was overrated. I mean, the people, when we had the open lines Fridays here, that's at the time when we were doing a lot of open lines Fridays, and during that the time of that fight, and some people were picking Valdez, and that was a big, some big episodes where everybody was getting into it about, no, Valdez is going to win, no, Shakur. And I remember thinking, why? They really think Valdez, the guy that struggled against Marliaga, the guy that's struggled against Genesis Cervania, the guy that should have lost against Conceição, I really think that he's going to beat Shakur Stevenson. And look, I gave Shakur Stevenson for beating him, although again, low blows in that fight too. And then he pulled out all the stops in regards to the low blows against Conceição. If Conceição was clinching too much, it was a reaction to the low blows. I mean, we did a compilation. Check it out in the short video section that we did. It's like about 16 low blows. Clean low blows. Some people, and I'm still mesmerized by the people that go in there go, those were borderline BDA shots, they're BDA moments. Borderline, the evidence is right in front of you. If you want to play stupid and pretend that those weren't low blows, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I don't want to deal with low class people anymore unless it's on the show.
Well, like you said, there was 16 legit low blows, yes, but some people were trying to say like there was 50, 60. I think those are a lot of borderline, but there were definitely a lot right on the low blow. It's just kind of funny though that the same people who sticking up for that and like all that had nothing to say when fucking Salido was fucking nailing Lomachenko in a nutsack all night. The same type of tactic, if actually even worse. And the same people defending Shakur Stevenson fucking gave Lomachenko no credit for taking all those ball shots.
And may also say,
and another thing, he didn't make the weight, and he didn't even attempt to get on the scale for like a second time. He said, "Fuck it, I'm just not going to make it."
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're right. That's right. I totally forgot about that, dude. I can't give him an honor roll. He didn't make weight. I can't give him an honor roll and all good. To me, that's a big thing, man. You sign a contract, you make the other dude go through all that fucking pain and suffering to get down to that fucking targeted, agreed upon, contracted weight, and you don't do it, I don't give a fuck. You're not getting on a roll. Sorry. If that's the only reason. If you wouldn't remind me of that, I would have kept him on the honor roll. But yeah, I take that very serious.
Sergeant in the chat goes, disgusting fail. Now, come on. Look, you can't fail the guy because he got himself 2 wins, man. Come on. Those were 2 wins. And look, even though I'd say Valdez overrated, at least Shakur Stevenson left it. There was no doubt that he won. He didn't leave any doubt. So I give him credit for that. I do give him credit to a certain extent for the Conceição fight, but he was just marred by the low blows and, like Jimmy and Gonzalez said, failing to make weight. And I get, somebody put in the Discord real quick. Somebody put in the Discord a couple of days ago an interaction that I don't know who had that interaction, but it was on Facebook apparently. And because it was this black guy that was saying, ESPN and boxing as a whole are racist against the black man. The black man is the most hated and then discriminated race in boxing. And white guy goes, what about fucking Top Rank? Pushing Haney, pushing Shakur Stevenson and all these other blackface, Jared Anderson, getting them paid, allowing them, hey, listen, that's the privilege of a big name like Shakur Stevenson. He failed to make weight, didn't even try. Oh yeah, imagine that. I think he had to pay $100,000, I think, or $50,000, I think, something like that to Conceição. That's the $50,000. That's what some fucking guys make per fight, and this guy can just give it away like that. I mean, that's why, like Jimmy said, it's a contract. And it should be sacred. And the fact that this guy just I'll give you a chunk of my purse, and then to go in there and low blow it, I mean, no, I'll give him a pass, but no honor roll. If he would have done it clean in both those fights, I would have given him an honor roll. And by the way, if we're talking about the future too, 2023, Shakur Stevenson apparently was in the vicinity of some rapper that got shot. So he's clearly hanging out with the wrong crowd. And then there was another rumor that supposedly Jay Prince, his advisor, sent some people to intimidate him or even, I think, beat him up. Again, it's just a rumor. I didn't really understand the video that somebody posted on the Discord because it was a guy speaking a lot of slang, if you know what I mean. It's like, hey, no bus, no cap, Shakur Stevenson going in there, got the anaconda, but he wasn't Ferrari. It's like, what? Are we speaking code now here? Oscar, Bravo, Alpha. It's like, what the fuck, man? Just spell it out for me, man. I'm not that smart, man. But anyway, the future still looks bright for him, but he needs to pull his act together, man, because he's got too much privilege and he seems to be taking boxing for granted. A little bit. So we're going to go ahead and give him a pass. And hey, Jimmy convinced Gonzalo, and then Gonzalo convinced Jimmy a little bit there with pointing out reminding him about the weight. So you see, this is what I like, man, in this panel. People going at it and saying, well, listen, this is my argument, and well, this is my counter argument. So
good
pass.
For you. And how was it?
Pass.
Yeah, I forgot, like I said, I forgot about the missing weight. That's, to me, inexcusable.
Yeah, I agree.
Although I give him credit for fighting. He's not fighting bums. You know what I mean?
That's right.
He's fighting, top competition. Listen, he's a highly skilled guy. I know a lot of people don't like him for the, varied reasons, but can't take that away from him. He's going to be kid.
He's a very difficult fighter to pin down, man. And again, it's that Puerto Rican heritage of his. Remember, he's half Puerto Rican, so Wilfred Benitez, one of the best defensive fighters of all time, and that's what you got with Shakur Stevenson too, man. Living up to the Puerto Rican legacy. All right, who else? Hey, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. All right, and if you're enjoying the show, spread the BDA gospel and let people know about it. All right, who else do we got here? That's 130 pounds, right? He's moving up to 135, by the way. Shakur Stevenson, he's moved up, so we're going to be seeing him at 135 next year. Let's go with, hold on a second, a guy that I think some people want to give him the honor roll last year, but I think we only gave him a pass or high pass. I forget. George Kambosos, now the former lightweight champion of the world, went 0-2 this year against Devin the Dream Haney. I think that's his nickname, by the way, the Dream. Guys, what do you think about Kambosos this year?
That's a big F.
Give him a fail. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I'm done. Big fail, absolutely. We don't have to spend any time with that fucking dude. His 15 minutes are done.
He never made the adjustments that he needed to do in that second fight. In my opinion, since I know it's easier said than done, it's harder said than done. In my opinion, he should have come forward more. For example, like Julio Cesar Chavez used to do, especially since Haney's not like a real hard puncher. I mean, he got speed and timing, and you're not just gonna walk into a dude. I get it, but in the first fight, basically when he was jumping in with a straight right and sometimes with like a left hook, when Haney took away that distance, this guy was in no man's land. He never had an opportunity to catch Haney in the first fight, fighting like that. And the second fight, he showed glimpses of that in the first round where the dude was coming forward and people actually got excited and we thought we were in for a fight. But he abandoned that. In the second round, going forward, he didn't continue doing that. And I just thought that he didn't make the proper adjustments to really gain some type of respect. I mean, I know that Haney's a better fighter, but he kind of underperformed in the both fights. And he was just being a diva as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that type of guy. You know, everything you said and everything we said before the fight about some of the changes he had to make, we knew he wasn't going to make him because he's not that type of guy. He's a counter puncher, hands down, relies a lot on his quickness. And that's why a lot of us picked Devin Haney to beat him because we knew, okay, listen, the one thing is Lopez, another one is finding a guy who actually has a jab and who's going to be sticking it into his face all night. So, I mean, he tried in the second fight, I guess, to be more aggressive. But you know what, though? I'm going to disagree. You guys are saying fail. I'm going to give him a pass, and I'll tell you why, though. And I understand why you gave him a fail, because you really do have to look ahead and be a chess master to see this. No offense to you guys, but I think him giving up those two fights, I think he gave him up. It's the art of war. I think he's giving them up, and he gave the title away. Because like, yeah, okay, whatever. I already won it. Now he wants to get it back. And it's only going to be more glorious when he gets it back. So I think you guys aren't really getting the art of showmanship, but he's got it down to a T. So I'm going to go ahead and give him an honor roll just for cooking up this little scheme. And of course, if you haven't realized that I'm kidding already, I don't know what to tell you. By the way, I also like when Jimmy gets vicious because he's a nice guy. You guys know Jimmy for the past 5 years. He doesn't want to shit on people if they don't deserve it, but when they deserve it, get out of Jimmy's way, man. What'd you say, Jimmy? Fucking 15 minutes are done. Oh man, I gotta listen. Like Gonzalez said, he turned into a diva, man. And you could actually see, Gonzalo, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't we, now in hindsight, didn't we see a little bit of a mean streak in him because when he was going out with the Lopez's, it's always hard to root it's always hard to root against somebody that's going up against the Lopez's, but he did a lot of trash talking too, and then it carried off into the Devin Haney fight. I mean, that's another reason to give him a big fail. He just talked so much, man, prior to the fights, the first fight, and then just a jab. That's all Haney needed, a jab and a bunch of clinches. And this fucking guy couldn't figure it out.
And I didn't like the shit, like you said, way he handled himself outside the ring, especially in the first fight. Remember when who was it? Was it fucking, Haney told him something on the down low, when they were hanging out, when they were friendly. And then he used it against them. Then he started calling him a rat. You told me this about this guy. You're a rat. Like, no, dude, that wasn't a rat, you fucking clown. Like, yeah, no, I just... Nah, fuck him. Failed. Go back to fucking catching kangaroos, you weirdo.
Oh, come on. At least you didn't say fucking kangaroos. All right, I want to read a couple of comments here from the chat. Sergeant IVV says trash. Larry Listen says fail. Some Randall says George Buster Kambosos. I am your leader says I am your leader just said ha 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 fail. Juggernaut says fail 2 times. 2 times. Super Sudonic says fail. He won like 1 round. Larry Listen says mind games with that Australian accent. Never Solver says fail F. Sergeant says biggest clown. Sergeant USMC, that's a different sergeant, says fail and expelled from school. Oh. Chitlin Distributor says hot dog fraud. I don't know what that means. Oh, I think he's talking about Haney with the nose. Some random says failed. Oh, fuck. Somebody else said high fail. The ultimate fail, somebody's saying. Well, now the ultimate fail would have been if he would have been laid out cold after all the trash talking they did, or he would twice.
Yeah, I mean, he's calling it fucking 300, like he's calling into his Greek Spartan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go out my shield. Mm-hmm. The fuck you went out your shield? Going out in your shield, you would have crossed that fucking no man's land and ate some shots. I mean, in one breath, you're sitting there talking about how Haney doesn't have any power, but had enough power to keep you scared. You fucking zip ahead. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. Nothing about that guy I like anymore. Just he's a clown.
I like his haircut, though. I'm going to give him points for that. All right, let's go to...
Yeah, nice fade. That's about it.
Yeah. Let's go to, the guy that beat him. Devin Haney. Undisputed lightweight champion. Beat Kambosos twice. A lot of people gave him a lot of credit for for going to Australia to do it, even though plenty of fighters do that every year to go to America to fight a bunch of foreigners. But hey, listen, he did what he had to. A little bit of luck there because of the war. That took Lomachenko out of contention. But look, Haney did what he had to do in there. He went in there, out-jabbed the guy in his home country, not once, but twice. Although, actually, I'll let you guys go first before I ramble on. What do you guys give him?
I'm going to give him... yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
I'd just say high pass because he unified the division, but it was against shit competition, which isn't his fault, but it is what it is. And again, he only got that fight, remember, because Lomachenko was ready to go. I mean, they were planning, they were making the plans and everything when that war started off. So it's the only reason why I even had it, because at first he was playing games. His old man was trying to get the fight pulled over to the United States. Remember? And another thing, just a shit. I shouldn't punish him for his father, but I think Bill Haney's the biggest dickhead in professional boxing right now.
Really?
Yep. The shit was said about CC. Well, CC talking about going after, saying that Teofimo's wife and his babies not off limits. Like, you serious? The infant's not off limits? And I know, and then Trill said, oh, no, don't say that, but that's a game. Trill's a black supremacist. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I've watched a few of his fucking, when he's talked about other things other than boxing. That guy's fucking slick. Who's he fooling? But yeah, I know, and Bill Haney was in there thanking her for having his back. And plus the shit he said about Lomachenko, the lies, both him and his son promulgating that fucking fairy tale about how Loma ducked him when nothing could be further from the truth. That is a made-up fucking fairy tale. That shit pisses me off. When you got a glory snatch and try to get fucking props off something that couldn't have happened, when you get to make up a fucking narrative to gain popularity off of, don't like it. So I'm only going to give him a high pass. That's it. I'm not giving him honor roll.
Oh, wow, man. You can settle.
I'm just going to give him a honor roll. Although I'm not like 100% convinced that he deserves it, but just for the simple fact that he became undisputed. But I mean, he collected all the belts by fighting one guy. He didn't just collect them like, I beat that guy, I beat this guy, I beat that guy. He didn't go one by one. But the fact that he went over there to Australia kind of tilts it to me in the favor of that. Okay, let's just, he deserves it, because at the end of the day, he is undisputed. He took the rematch in Australia once again against that one opponent, like I mentioned. I know it sounds kind of convoluted what I'm saying, but I'm basically just going to give everybody on these lists, if they're undisputed, I'm just going to give them a fucking honor roll. And I think, he kind of deserves it. Although I don't really like the kid. He talks a lot of shit. His dad does as well. He fought Kambosos and he beat him outright. So I'm just going to give him honor roll.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the accomplishments, not about whether we did like or dislike the guy. I'm ambivalent about a choice here, because on the one hand, yes, he's undisputed, but again, that's just, people put too much on undisputed. Like, for example, Inoue. Oh, he's undisputed. Yeah, but the last guy he got the belt from, I mean, he was already the best beforehand. He didn't need to fight Butler. So just having 4 more belts doesn't really add that much to me. Although, I mean, we did it just for the sake of saying that he cleared out the whole division. But what I'm saying is, in the context, is that just because you have the 4 belts doesn't really mean anything. It's depending on who you got them from. And Kambosos, he was the weakest link. I mean, listen, he beat Lopez. We give him credit. He went in there, pulled off an upset. But it's not like he's cooled Lopez. I mean, the fight was very tough for him. Look at his face after the fight. Look at the fact that he got dropped, and he got his second win after he got dropped and survived and actually went at Lopez. But that was a war. So in terms of skills, it's not like he was all that. So Haney, I'm going to give him a high pass, because back in the day, people used to say, they used to do what he did all the time, or very often, or more often than what is being done now. And people want to give him a high honor roll just because, oh, he went to Australia. Well, guess what? That's what tons of foreigners do every year, fighting in America. So, pass or
high pass for me as well. That makes a lot of sense.
But I don't know, though. It's like he did have those 2 sensational wins, barely lost a round. He lost more runs in the rematch than he did. Like in the rematch, I think he lost like 3. I gave Kambosos 3 or 4. Whereas in the first one, he pretty much won everything after the... Oh, but that's the other thing, though. Hey, we're talking about the performances. The clinching. He did a shitload of clinching in the second. Okay, no, fuck it. Pass. High pass. Even though... And that's being generous, though, because we're overlooking the clinching. But yeah, high pass. Jimmy, you agree with it? About the clinching there?
Oh, good for you.
Right,
and how was it?
He gets
just a high pass, not an honor roll. No way. For the clinching, level of competition, he won undisputed. But that's about as weak a 4-belt undisputed as you can possibly get. He went from contender, literally just a contender, to getting a belt given to him. He didn't have to fight anybody for it. Lied about Lomachenko ducking him, and then he fucking took the spot that Lomachenko gave up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, high pass.
All right. Speaking of Lomachenko, let's go to Vasiliy Lomachenko, former pound-for-pound king, now on the comeback trail. I mean, he's been on the comeback trail since he lost to Teofimo Lopez. 2021, he fought twice, dominated, and then this year he only fought once. A tougher than anticipated fight against Jermaine Ortiz, although if you had seen Ortiz prior to that, you knew that he was going to be a tough fighting. Nevertheless, Lomachenko walks away with a unanimous decision, and now a potential Devin Haney fight. Guys, what do you think?
I'll give him a pass.
Yeah, same.
I mean, he just certainly didn't fail. I mean, he went over to defend his country in the Ukraine, so that's pretty admirable. He went to do his military service, but then he came back and took on a tough, undefeated contender, I believe. He was undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy that he fought got some skills, ambidextrous, really a southpaw, but could switch styles, aggressive, and he did well by beating him, but it was still a close fight. He shows a little bit signs of ring rust, and maybe it has a little bit to do with age as well. He's not pulling that car out of the driveway as quick as he should, and he's leaving it in the judge's hands just a little too much when he could actually get started a little bit quicker. And like they say, he downloads the information, and once he's got it, he's gonna dismantle you. But I'm just saying, man, he needs to he needs to figure that shit out just a little bit earlier. And that's all I have to say about that.
I'm gonna give him a low pass because he only fought once. You got to take points away from that. Now, I do give him points. I mean, I'm not going to take points off too much for that because it was, there's a difference between, what am I trying to say here? Okay, if you fought once a year and it's because you signed with the PBC, for example, that's on you because you're making the decision. Now, he made the decision not to fight more times this year because of the war, but the war, that's an extraneous circumstance right there. He chose the path of honor there to do that. So I don't know. But then again, you could make the case, what the fuck does that have to do with boxing? We're just talking boxing here. So he only fought once. I'm going to give him a low pass, man. I'm going to give him a low pass.
Yeah,
he did what he had to. He won. Yeah.
BD, and I hesitate to properly put him in a category of okay, let's consider he's very talented. I'm saying, he needs to pick up the pace just a little quicker. But the thing is, okay, the dude's a small guy. He chose also to fight at 135. It's not going to get easier. It's not going to get any easier from here on out because he's getting older and he's fighting like dudes that should be fighting at welterweight. Like fucking Devin Haney, he can't really make the weight any longer. He's supposed to be fighting him in May, but if the fight doesn't happen in March, 2 months prior, he's going to call it off because he's saying, I'm having a hard time making the weight. Now that's something he has to contend with. Big dudes fighting him to where it's only uphill from here for him because he's not getting any younger. So it's another thing to consider, man. He's in a tough division.
That's true. That's an excellent point. It's really his skills and his stamina is what's allowing him to beat these bigger guys. But man, when he's up against guys like Jermaine Ortiz, good footwork, just as quick, if not maybe even quicker than Lomachenko, bigger. I mean, it was going to be a challenge to beat this guy. But credit to Lomachenko, he did that. But he did make the decision not to fight, and whether it was for war or whether it was because maybe I would have accepted it if someone in his family was sick and he had no other choice but to take care of them or something. But war. It's like, I don't know, man. It's an honorable thing to go to war for your country. But if I'm not going to get into the political aspect of it, but I don't even think that war is legit. So I'm going to give him a pass, man. Low pass. Hopefully next year he fights more often, man. And we get back to seeing the old, that means the regular Lomachenko. Not necessarily old as in age.
I mean, I'm going to give him a high pass, not an honor roll, but he took on a kid who would instantly be the best name on Davis's resume, on Haney's resume, and that was the guy he came back as his warm-up fight or his comeback fight. His comeback fight would be Davis's best opponent ever. So I'm going to give him fucking credit for that. I mean, just because of the standard he gets held to is completely different from everybody else's. So,
you know what, Jimmy, I agree with what you're saying, but we're gonna have to go back in time next year. If next performance from Jermaine Ortiz, if he looks like the bomb, we're gonna have to go back in time and change it here then to a high pass. But for the moment, just pass. Oh, but hold on a second. Hold on. Pete wants to jump in. He caught me at the right time, man. I was just checking the phone and I got his message. Hold on a sec. I usually don't check the phone here during the thing there. But yeah, like Jimmy, I think you make a good argument, but we're going to have to wait and see how Ortiz looks in his next fights. But I think Pete said he wants to add something to this Loma thing. Hey, Pete, come on, man. I'm sending you the message, man. And I got to go wee-wee. Real bad, man. Can you guys take over before we move on to the next name?
Yeah, you know what?
Okay.
Jamie, I was going to say, this is the thing, man. This is the thing with him. He's taking these breaks because he want to go defend his country. But dude, you're a small dude. You got to be operating on all cylinders. If you're Lomachenko, you got to take this serious. You got to think this boxing thing extra seriously, man. Because we see it with a lot of Eastern Europeans that start late, man. It's an uphill fucking battle. Now you're fighting young dudes, like in the prime of their lives, bigger dudes, having like dehydrating, whether their body still allows them to get away with that. So basically, dude, what if you lose against these guys? They're gonna cut you no slack. So you gotta be extra prepared, firing at all cylinders, because you are the smaller dude, you are the older dude. Don't leave anything in the table, because we know that you're skillful, but you just gotta be like fucking at your best, dude.
Plus I always give him credit, Gonzalo, because of the fact that he's not even supposed. I mean, he shouldn't even be fighting at 135. At most, he should be 130. He's a small dude, a small frame dude. You see how much bigger Jermaine Ortiz was than him? Wait to see the size difference between him and Haney if they do fight. So he's literally Pacquiaoing it, having to go up in weight classes because at 126, 130, he fucking dominates. I mean, dominates everybody down there.
He's Pacquiao without the bowl haircut. Jimmy's right. I just had to get in real quick. I'm having a bad day. How you guys doing, everybody?
What's up, Peter?
I'm like a defensive parent jumping in when his kids are everybody's right, but I got to argue with these teachers. You know what? You can talk about whoever these other guys, but when it comes to Loma, you guys better back off my boy. He is fighting above his weight. Gonzalo, the slow starting thing, he had ring rust against this Ortiz kid. This Ortiz kid's a dog. Good complexion too on that kid. And also, he's done giving four rounds off. You saw him against Nakatani. You saw what he did. You saw how he came out. No more playing games and feeling out. We're destroying you. Cave your face in. Thank you.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like you got all things going against you. Yeah, Pete, but let's say he loses. People are gonna cut him no slack. They're gonna criticize him. There goes your boy Loma. I thought he was like really good. That's why you gotta really like be prepared, man. if you're fucking Loma, because you know that the haters.
He already lost. He already lost against Alito, and then when
that doesn't matter. You were talking about because his dream is to be in this.
You were talking about it. You called him exposed. Don't worry about anybody jumping ship on him. He gets an A+.
He's I think his goal is to become undisputed. So now he got a chance against Haney. Right? You need to take this. You need to prepare.
No one needs to show off with straight A's, okay? No one needs to show off with Dean's List. Just get a solid C, B, C, and let's graduate. Thank you. No, I hear you though. He'll be back, man. There's just I don't know the Ukraine thing. I don't know what the fuck he was doing over there, but he looked a little rusty. So did Usyk coming back from the mother country, if you know what I'm saying. That's all.
I mean, how old is Lomo now? 35?
I don't know.
34? I forget. I'm not too aware with his age, how old he is.
But I'm just saying, you know, his it's not like it's just pure athleticism. It's not like he's just out. He's got more skill. Who in the 135 division's got more skill? Not one shot power, but one shot power at 135 should tell you something about Tank. I mean, it's not. What other 135 pounder just had one shot ice power? Unless you're fighting nobodies, you know what I mean? So yeah, he's fighting bigger guys. They got punch resistance, and he's still beating the shit out of them, basically making them quit. Ortiz is a dog, and again, nice fair-skinned kid. I got no problems with Ortiz, and what's it called? Loma, man, hey, until somebody beats him, Haney's not gonna fucking beat him. He's not gonna be able to see him. And so you know what I mean? Give the man his props.
All right, just get back here. Fucking Pete sounds like
his flowers.
Pete sounds
where'd you go, Professor? Would you take a fucking take a little break?
I said I before you got here. I said I gotta go wee wee.
He had to go drop a deuce.
Nah. But
by the way, Mr. B takes so long because he pulls his pants and his underwear all the way down to his ankles.
Hey, that's the only way to do it, man. If you have a better idea, let me know, man. But
plus, he has to fucking wipe off his dick because was it deep and cold?
No, but listen, I had to get another cup. I had to get another cup of tea.
We call that a
I had to get another cup of tea because we've got a lot. We've been on for an hour 43 minutes, and we still got a long way to go. So let's right off the bat, okay. So you guys talk about Lomachenko, fantastic. Let's move on now.
These guys out talking about Lomachenko like that. You're not talking about my boy like that. He's the smartest kid in school. You should have given him an A. And I'm gonna get off and listen in, guys. You guys be good.
All right, Pete, take it easy, man. Out there, don't lose your cool, man. It's fucking Pete lately. He's been losing his cool.
I'm in the same mood as Jimmy is, and I'm stuck in traffic. And Christmas shopping, people are out of their fucking minds tonight.
No,
I got I mean, it's enough now. Uncle Pete's going home.
All right, man. Get some Amazon Prime, though.
Stay white, guys.
He should get Amazon Prime so he doesn't have to go to the actual fucking store. But then again, you're promoting, if you're with Amazon, you're promoting globalism and fucking tyranny. So I don't know where to go with that one. Yeah. Well, I didn't say communism, but all right, listen, let's go. Fuck, who else was next? Oh, hey. Oh. How about William El Camarón Zepeda? 3 wins this year. The first one wasn't all that great, but then the second one he took on Gutierrez, who's a tough guy. Struggled a little bit, didn't look as dominant as he did, and then he stepped it up against Jojo Diaz and did better, dare I say, than Devin Haney did. This guy is a power puncher, but he can also turn into a volume puncher, as we saw against Jojo. For a minute there, it looked like he was going to stop Jojo because Jojo was bleeding bad, man. Before 6 rounds into the fight, but then to his credit, Jojo's a tough guy, and Zepeda just turned it on and just overwhelmed him with volume, fellas. What do we say about William El Camarón Zepeda?
I give him Jesus, where were we at? He don't have a title still. He's a contender?
Yes, I believe.
Let me see. How many times? He fought 3 times a year, BD?
3 times, yes.
Okay, and I think he broke the record for more punches thrown. I think, what was it? In combination or like single-handedly? Because sometimes you got 2 fighters where they both throw a lot of punches and it goes above like 3.
Yeah, no, I think he threw. He's the one that did all the throwing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna give him an honor roll. Yeah, he's the goods, and you know when he's throwing punches, he's a fair skinned dude. He's white. He's a white Mexican. He's not getting all red from all the lactic acid building in his muscles like Canelo Alvarez. Mm-hmm. Where I mean, the dude ain't getting like muscle tight or anything. The dude can keep on throwing, and you can tell by the complexion he's not looking flustered when he's doing it. He's got a lot of oxygen in his veins. That's what I mean by it. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
I got
He's
you.
got a good gas. He's got good stamina.
Listen, I'm putting the numbers here, man. He threw 1,536 shots. Holy fucking shit. That's a lot of shots. I don't think I could even throw that many right now. Just hitting the air. Wow. That's, yeah. Okay, but so you said honor roll. Jimmy, what say ye?
I don't even know who the fuck he is.
What? That's like Jojo Diaz. Jimmy.
I can't even picture him right now in my head. I can't even picture what he looks like. So,
well, okay. Hold on. I'm sharing the screen here. Jimmy is a guy that you guys gotta remember. He's been watching boxing a long time, but sometimes he'll say, "Fuck, I don't want to stay up to watch these guys." So, you serious about you don't know who's the? I'm sharing the screen here, by the way. Maybe if you look at him, you'll recognize him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This fucking going in half a fucking century watching these guys fight. So you start to blend after a while.
Right.
I was thinking Zepeda. I was thinking about the kid that fucking Prograis just starched. Well,
that was another Zepeda.
Yeah, so that's where my mind was going at first. So once that happened, I was like, I don't even know who the fuck they're talking about.
That was John Zepeda. But anyway, listen. Gonzalo, I'm going to have to disagree.
Yeah, that kid. Okay, I just looked him up. Yeah,
he beat Tanahara, Jimmy. Tanahara, some dude from the RGBA. Yeah.
I'm going to give him a fucking high pass. I'm not going to give him an honor roll because that would be disingenuous because I don't know much of him. I just know he's fought 3 times, and he's won convincingly. And I think he beat Jojo Diaz more than anybody else has. Definitely more than Haney did. So yeah, I'll give him a high pass. I'm done.
I'm going to give him a pass because he's not a champ. And look, okay, he beat Jojo Diaz, but he didn't beat fucking Naoya Inoue in there. He beat a guy that he shouldn't even be at 135, Jojo Diaz. But I give him points for, like I said, he did better than fucking Haney did. And he didn't get stunned in there. He didn't clinch. Again, that's not a knock on Haney, who did deserve the win against Jojo. But I'm just saying now, if we're comparing quality, William Zepeda certainly seems to be the goods. But it's just, he did struggle a little bit there against Alvarado. Didn't look as dominant as he had against Tanahara. So, and again, he has no title. He didn't beat any real top 5 lightweight in there. So I'm going to give him a pass. But the future looks bright, man, for this dude. And by the way, some people are saying, he dogged what's his name? Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson never sent him an offer. That's what Zepeda said. So, and it's the same thing with Navarrete. People go, well, Navarrete dogged Shakur Stevenson. Navarrete said that he said they gave him an offer which was low, and he said, yeah, fine, I'll take it, and then they never get back to him. I believe that's what happened. Maybe somebody in the Discord or in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. So, this whole thing about Shakur Stevenson, I think Shakur Stevenson is just claiming to be calling these guys out, but he's not actually sending out any contracts. So, I don't know. I'd like to hear more. But anyway, Zepeda, man, he's a pass. For sure. Let's give him a pass right there. And I got to play the...
Oh, good for you.
There you go. That's William Zepeda. Let's move on now to... I think we're done with the lightweight division. Unless my list tells me otherwise. What are people in the chat saying? Lord Blue MBM says... Clinch Master Haney. Oh, come on. I Am Your Leader says he didn't duck anyone. Juggernaut says, get Willie Zepeda in there with Pitbull Diaz. Oh, yeah, Pitbull Cruz, yeah. That would be a fantastic fight. Unfortunately, Pitbull is at the PBC, on the side of the PBC. So.
What do you give him? What do you give Cruz? Didn't he beat up some fucking PBC slug?
I mean, Gamboa and some other dude,
Yeah.
We're not going to, listen, we got other names that we got to get to.
Time. So. Yeah, waste of time. Next.
I wouldn't say waste of time, but I would say, it was Gamboa and Eduardo Ramirez. Whatever. I don't even have the picture, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing, though. So.
It's Gordito.
El Gordito, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming up in weight. El Zurdito, yeah.
This that kid Cruz, man. I mean, what does he get? He gets. I mean, what's his claim to fame? A moral victory for not getting knocked out by fucking Haney? I mean, Davis. I mean, really, what has he done? What has he accomplished?
Yeah, he didn't win that fight. That's for sure. Hey, but hey, listen, we've got. Hey, by the way, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to Ryan Garcia. He doesn't really quite know whether he's going to be a lightweight or a junior welterweight, but hey, look, he had 2 wins. Barely lost a round against Tagoy, and then he knocked out Javier Fortuna. Did something that only Jason Sosa had done, and even Jason Sosa knocked him out, but he was losing. Well, I don't know if he was losing, but he was falling behind, I think, or he was behind when he fought Fortuna. And meanwhile, Garcia comes in here and totally dominates him. Fellas, what say ye?
Well, seriously, I would give him just a pass. I'm passing. I mean, for me, it's pass, on roll, or fail, and I just give him a pass. I'm not going to dog him.
Okay.
Yeah, I give him a pass too. A high pass is cool because he is 23. He's going on 20, so he's a young dude. It's not like he's fucking 30 like the Charlos. Okay, well, he's not a champion, but he's en route to becoming a champion. He's fighting in the future. The Filipino kid, but he's in line to fight Gervonta Davis. So he's in the path to progression. That's gonna, he's gonna be fighting for titles in the near future. But for now, he's getting the knockouts. And against Emmanuel Tagoy, he did, and he dropped him. But that dude, he didn't go in there to fight. He was on his bicycle. Plus, he was kind of slippery, and he changed trainers. But he's improving. I see a little bit of things that he's incorporating in the style with the Joe Goosen, like the jab, a power jab. He improved to the body with Errol Reynoso. The way he stopped freaking the English dude. I mean, he's doing good for his age. So yeah, he's pretty good. Fucking style.
You got to give him credit.
Speed and power.
You got to give him credit because he's the one, believe it or not, pushing that Davis fight. Golden Boy doesn't want to make that fight. Oscar definitely doesn't want to make that fight, without a doubt. I mean, he's only got a handful of fucking talent signed to him. Do you really think he wants his biggest name? And if you talk about biggest name as far as ticket to, not the best, the biggest name, his biggest money draw right now is Ryan Garcia. Do you really think he wants him to go across the street and fight on Showtime or whatever? Yeah, no. So that's him making them. That's him putting his foot down, saying, "I make that fight because he really wants to fight Davis." So I got to give him credit for that.
And I must say,
but that's a no picture, no video you got up there because he ain't looking like that any longer.
That's the latest. That's from the calendar that I got, the Ryan Garcia calendar.
Okay.
Now, but listen, yeah, I think it's an old one. Yeah, it's from the. I think it's the one. I think it's the one we always.
He's looking like the zoo. Yeah.
He's looking like what?
He's got 2 lions, a dove, a serpent on his arm, and he got depression. He might as well get like an 800 fucking pound gorilla on his back, just always chasing him. Because of the depression, the fucking zoo, man.
Hey, Gonzalo,
that's an old picture. But with that being said, he's probably more. He's growing into his man strength. So yeah, the guy's he's only gonna get more physical now.
Well, I mean, he's getting.
I think he's not fighting at 35 any longer. He's at 40.
I mean, Gonzalo, he's getting so strong that even Tank Davis now is looking at him thinking, "Oh shit, I'm a little scared now. He might be juicing." That's how strong the guy's looking.
That's right.
But
he's
listen,
fucking bitching out now.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna bitch out, but yeah, listen. Okay, talking about the past first, because that's what we're judging him on. I've changed my mind on Ryan Garcia, and I tell you what, though, I was more impressed this year by Garcia than I was in 2021. And people could say, well, wait a minute, you think this year was more impressive than knocking out Luke Campbell? Yes, because Ryan Garcia, when he fought, what was the guy's name? Carlos Morales or something or not? When he fought on Facebook Live, remember that? He stunk the joint
Carlos
out.
Morales.
It was Morales. Okay, yeah, thank you. He stunk the joint out. He was just trying to counterpunch and he couldn't time the guy, so he just resorted to clinching and he got away with a majority decision. Since then, he's a guy now that pressures fighters. He goes out there and tries to get the. He could very well, with the speed and height advantage that he has, he could just stand back and say, "Let me try to catch these guys with some counterhooks." Nah, man, he's chasing them down. Now in the Tagoy fight, I remember you guys pointed out some of his deficiencies. in cutting off the ring and all that. But he's still pressured against the goal where he, like I said, he could have just stood back and picked him off. He tried to knock him out. He hurt him twice. Yeah, the technical flaws prevented him from fully catching the guy. But unless you're Naoya Inoue or Golovkin or Beterbiev, if a guy goes on the defensive against you, it's pretty hard to cut him down, especially when you got a 23-year-old in there, Ryan Garcia, who never really had a world-class trainer before. Even, I mean, look, listen, fucking the Reynosos, they got experience, but they're a little bit overrated because of their association with Canelo. Now that he's with Goosen, like I said, he pretty much beat up Tago in there. Then he knocks out Fortuna. It's not the best year. They weren't the best lightweights, but he certainly looked like one against that type of opposition. So I'm going to give him a pass. All that preamble to say pass.
Well, yeah.
Up to that point, sorry, Jimmy, up to that point, Carlos Morales had never been knocked out. Now, after Ryan got the decision against Carlos Morales, Morales got knocked out against Linares. Mm-hmm. But you could tell, I mean, after that fight, like you mentioned, something changed. Now he's chasing dudes down. Sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, if you actually look back, remember Christ, he's been around for a while now. Everybody was, Twink Magazine, this kid's a joke, blah, blah, blah. He's going to get exposed. Remember the shit that was said about this kid? Nobody gave this kid a shot. It's kind of funny to see a lot of people, and I see him on Twitter, the same dudes who were fucking saying this kid's going to get exposed the first time he fights anybody who knows how to box. And now some of the dudes saying, oh, man, I think he can take this dude. It's like, and I said from the beginning, listen, Golden Boy wouldn't have signed him if he was nothing but a fluffing nutter. You know what I mean? If he was just some fucking little twink that was, had a lot of Instagram followers, no, the kid can punch and he's fast. Mm-hmm. It was just the right. If he listens, they say he's a pleasant kid. Everybody who meets him says he's a pleasant kid. And if he's listening to Goosen, I have a lot of respect for Goosen. I think he's a quality trainer and he knows the sport. So, and if he gets that rapport with you, he can learn a lot from him. Will he implement it? I don't know. He's got to get. I don't like that he's so flat-footed and he has his head on the line. He's got to get his head off the line. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't correct that, it's just a matter of time before he gets sparked. But
he's got good chemistry with Joe Goosen. You can tell, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. He's like, "You're looking good, Ryan. You're looking good. You want some candy?"
Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Gonzalo? Yeah, I think Goosen's straight, man. In fact, I think I've seen him in at fights with younger women. I mean, I think maybe, I don't know if it was his daughter or whatever, but
really?
I think he's a swinging dick type of guy, man.
Oh no, that's her daughter, Brittany Goosen. Yeah,
Brittany Goosen. Let me Google her.
Joe has some goofy clothes. I mean,
I've been friends with her on Facebook for a while. She's cool.
He wears some like bedazzled jackets. You ever see some of the jackets he wears with all the studs and shit? It's like jean jacket.
Like Elvis Presley?
Yeah, with the jeans all bedazzled and the jean. So he's got like, jean jacket and a jean fucking, jeans on and shit. What do they call them? The Canadian tuxedos.
Well, so wait a minute. That's Joe Goose's daughter. That blonde chick.
I think so.
That's. Yeah.
I believe so.
It's this blonde chick that I saw Goosen with one time at one of the fights, and apparently that's his daughter. According to what?
Yeah, Brittany Goosen.
Are you sure that's the daughter, or maybe that's they share the same name because it's his wife?
No, it's her daughter. I'm almost certain it's her daughter. Yeah.
Not bad, man. Produce himself a good good-looking daughter there, man.
That's her daughter. Yeah, that's her daughter.
I might have to hire Joe Goosen as my personal trainer, and maybe I'll she'll need to come on board, to work on other areas too. You gotta work all the muscles,
fellas.
How old is she? Huh?
How old is she? Young? Is she an older woman? I mean, how old is she?
She looks old enough.
She's like 26 now.
You think fucking Ryan's hitting it? You think Ryan's tapping that?
Oh,
what the fuck was that, man? That sounded like nothing but backboard.
No, that's my. I stuck my finger inside the fan. Jesus.
Oh, sounded like you jumped on a ball and hit nothing but backboard.
Let's get serious for a moment here, because we got to keep going with this list. So that's Ryan Garcia. Let's see what he does next week.
I'm not the one creeping on Goosen's daughter, man.
Yeah, that's my fault. All right, I was just curious, man, because I remember seeing her with him. I said, is he tapping that? But apparently that's his daughter, so we got to be respectful of her. All right.
Yep.
Where else were we at? By the way, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. I see a lot of people watching, and we only got half those likes. I got a good mind to stop this broadcast right now and fucking destroy my computer so that we never broadcast again if I don't see the likes going up.
Send it. Fucking right. So let's end this shit right now. No more likes. No, what about some motherfuckers, man? They won't even allow people to call the show until they get a certain amount of likes.
Well, I mean, that's a good strategy, though. We should do that. All right, listen. We got to keep on going here. We're at I think we got done with the lightweight, so let's go with the main honcho at 140 pounds. Josh Taylor, fellas. He fought one time this year in March, I believe. Should have lost against Jack Catterall. And then he decided to act like a jackass, saying, no, I won. And then he even made fun of Catterall when Catterall was downgraded by the WBO, meaning he wouldn't be able to fight for the vacant belt if Josh Taylor vacated. And Josh Taylor said, why don't you call the police? Because, some people had called the cops to complain about the decision. So Josh Taylor was making fun of him. He got the official win, but he only fought once. Should have lost. Fellas, what say ye?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a fail.
Go on.
I'm gonna give him a fail because he lost in his country of Scotland. And I don't know if he's still with that trainer. What's the dude from England? What's his name?
Ben
the
Davison.
Dapper Dan dude. He kind of dresses like.
Oh no, he's no longer.
Ben Davis.
He's no longer with him.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of need somebody that you develop that chemistry because he knows better than anybody else how you're looking in the ring. Now he stopped working with the guy that he was before. Then he switched over to Ben Davis. Now I don't know if he went back to the dude that he was originally working with, but going into a fight against a guy that you lost, you got to know how to understand what you're doing well and what you're not in order to make the changes. Because if somebody doesn't have that experience with the way you fight, how do you know? It's like in soccer, when I'm going to pull this guy and put in the fucking replacements in the right time. The trainer is just going off a whim. So I think you need to be consistent with the trainer. And I'm just basically putting that into the equation, that he don't have a consistent trainer. So that's why I'm giving him a fail, because he lost in Scotland and because of the inconsistencies with his trainer once again.
There you go, man. That's a good breakdown there. Gonzalez giving him a fail. Jimmy, what say you?
I had a hard time hearing you. I was breaking up at the time. Who are we talking about?
Josh Taylor.
Oh, fail. Well, talk about a nosedive. I mean, he was fucking talked about as one of the top 5 pound guys. He goes out and lays a dud of a performance. Fought once. Now it's taken him fucking forever to run the second one back. I mean, I'm like almost over that kid by now. Like, it's so ridiculous. Plus, he fucking signed up with that. Is he still with that clown Ben Davison?
No. We talked
the
about
motivational
that,
speaker who talks people into fucking thinking he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, no, fail. I'm with Gonzalo, 100%.
I mean,
moving on.
Listen, I have to agree with you, fellas. It's a fail. I mean, yeah, he got the win, and yeah, look, listen, Catterall was doing a lot of clinching, but that clinching wasn't snapping his head back throughout the fight. So, now, listen, there's going to be a rematch. Apparently, it's going to be in March. But that was a bad performance, and the fact that he only fought once, I can't see anything other than a big old fail.
And aren't they pushing this off again? Didn't I just hear that fight is being extended again?
I don't know. I didn't hear that. Gonzalo, did you hear that?
Yeah, I think it's being fucking delayed again for something. I don't know. I mean, was it over a year ago that they fought?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Big fail for that kid. His gave up his belts.
Hey, some rando says we should be generous and give him an F+. Oh man, what the fuck? All right. Oh, by the way, hold on a second. We got a phone call here. It's Dan Goosen's Excuse me, not Joe. No, is that, yeah, one of the Goose's daughters. Yes, you're on the air, Goose's daughter. What's on your mind?
Get down there and eat my ass.
Oh, well, you don't have to ask me twice.
Get down there on your knees and eat my fucking ass.
Like I said, you don't need to ask twice, honey. All right, let's get serious here. What's going on here? It used to be a classy show. What's going on here? In the holiest of seasons, we shouldn't be playing.
She says it so matter of factly, and eat my ass.
All right. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, she's pretty for. She looks like the girl from the Karate Kid movie, the original one, when she was young.
Oh yeah, what's her name again? She was in
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue. She was a pudgy little fuck back and then. Yeah, she had those big fat thighs back then.
Jennifer
and she became an anorexic.
Jennifer Sox and Elizabeth Shue. That's a great combination right there. And I'm Mr. I'm not gonna tell you my first name, but my last name is Boots. So Boots, Shoe, Socks. Yeah. We would make a great combination. I tell you what, man, I'd fucking.
Well, isn't there a saying? Yeah, she can blow my socks off any day, or what's the saying?
Yeah, what is it? Blow my socks, or I don't know. Well, she can do all the blowing she wants with me. That's for sure. All right, listen. Let's get serious here for a moment. Let's go to who else we got here. Let's go to another guy in this division who I'm very curious to hear what you guys got to say about this guy. Even though he only fought once this year. No, excuse me. How many times did he fight? Hold on. Regis Prograis, 140 pounds. How many times did he fight? Did he fight that Irish guy this year, or was that last year?
Pass. I'll give him a pass.
I think he fought Jesus. He's not a Mexican dude, but he's got a Hispanic last name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. McKenna. The Irish. Excuse me, Gonzalo. The Irish guy, Tyrone McKenna. He beat him earlier this year by TKO, and then he beat Zepeda.
Yeah, I give him a pass. McKenna's a nobody, and Zepeda was never that high. I mean, he's hot and cold. Some fights he looks like shit. Some fights he looks good. Yeah, he beat him. I give him a high pass. Definitely not on a roll. He's 2 fights too infrequently.
I'm going to give him an honor roll. I'm going to give him an honor roll. But yeah, look, I know Josh Taylor was the guy before. Josh Taylor, somebody mentioned he was honor roll. We gave him honor roll last year, I believe. Yeah, because he unified. This guy wasn't it's not that Josh Taylor is not a good fighter. And because he failed, now you're going to say, okay, because this guy's next, why did you fail the guy that beat him in the close fight? But then you're going to give him a pass or honor roll. I'm going to give him an honor roll because Chon Zepeda was a good fighter. He beat Chon Zepeda, but he beat him convincingly. I don't think Chon Zepeda won, but maybe 1 or 2 rounds. This guy dismantled Zepeda in his fighting style. I like it, man. It's in between boxer puncher. And I know he's been inactive and everything, but I think he's got all that sorted out now like the sky's the limit or whatever. The dude got power, man. The way he hits you to the body, he's fucking beating you up. And he's a solid 140 pounder. He's not struggling to make the weight. He's actually making it easier. People ask, why doesn't he go up to welterweight to fight all the big names? Well, that division is tied up. It's fucking, we know what's up with that division. It's far from being that glamour division that it used to be. So there's a lot of fighters at 140, like he mentioned in his interview. Okay, now I think he's better than all of those guys. Now he's the boogeyman, in my opinion. If anybody want to call out his name, I want to see that because I want to see those fights. I think he beats them all. So I'm really high on fucking Regis Prograis this time around. So we don't know what the future. He might be high like fucking Taylor was last year. Then it's a roller coaster. Next year he might be not doing so great. But as for now, I think I'm gonna put him as honor roll.
Well, I'm gonna go in between. No, I know that sounds dirty, but I'm saying I'm gonna take the middle road here. I'm not gonna give him a high pass. I mean, an honor roll. I'm gonna give him a high pass. And because, look, McKenna is a guy that he went the distance against Catterall, who made Josh Taylor look like shit. This guy dismantled him like it was nobody's fucking business. And then against Chon Zepeda, okay, Chon Zepeda's hard and cold, but nobody ever dominated him the way this guy did. Just broke him apart and took him out like he should have. I mean, that was the cherry on the cake. Now, of course, he's not the 140-pound champ yet. But this guy had a stellar year.
I think he is beating. No, wasn't the title that Josh Taylor vacated is the one that he got his hands on. So he's like two-time WBC champion now.
But you understand what I'm saying? That he's not the champ. You know what I mean? Like he could have a title, but you know me, I don't give a shit about titles that much. But I agree with you though. I mean, I think he had a stellar year, man. But he needs to get that. Like for example, if he would have beaten Jose Ramirez, that would have been to determine. Okay, now who's the next guy there after Josh Taylor? Because Josh Taylor is about to leave. Whatever happens in that Canelo fight, he's saying he's going to leave. So, for all intents and purposes, to me, Regis Prograis is the heir apparent if he beats a guy like Jose Ramirez. But again, he didn't quite beat one of those guys. But he did the next best thing, which was stop Chon Zepeda. That was a 50-50 fight for a lot of people going in, myself included. So I'm gonna give him a high pass. It's like a high pass. It's like a pass on marijuana, very high. So it was a good year for Regis Prograis, and hopefully he continues it, and we get to see him fight one of the top two guys after him. I'm gonna give him a pass, and the people in the chat seem to agree with us. Pass. So that's the way it's gonna stick, man. Now, there's another guy here at 140 pounds. He fought 1 year, got a win against a veteran in Jose Pedraza. And I'm talking about another Jose Ramirez. Jose. It's like we're fucking working in the back of a restaurant here. Jose Ramirez got himself a 1 win, like I said, against Jose Pedraza. It was a little bit tricky. He didn't quite look like the beast that he'd been looking like in the past, but unfortunately, again, 1 win, but it was only one. It was only 1 fight. Fellas, what say ye? What say ye? What say ye?
I'm going to give him a regular pass. I'm tempted to give him a fail, but I mean, he did beat Pedraza. Pedraza got a tie with Comey. So Pedraza's not actually like a shell of himself. He's okay. He's still good. Pedraza. This guy he beat him convincingly. But just one time gotta makes you wonder why he has been so inactive. But I mean, that's it basically.
Gonzalo, you didn't think he looked a little flat against Pedraza?
It's not so fresh in my mind. Maybe I can't really tell you right now.
Okay. Well, you're saying pass though.
Yeah, he hasn't been the same though. In my opinion, I mean, there's not so much evidence for me to like say, okay, one performance. But just like the look in his eye, that fucking gleam is not there no more. That something is dead about his personality now. I think because I do follow him on social media, and he started drinking after the Taylor loss. But he just seems like he seems like a shell of himself to me. Something is gone there with his personality. He don't look the same to me. But that's just my personal opinion. That's just my intuition speaking. We need more evidence. He needs to fight more. Jose Carlos Ramirez.
Oh yeah, yeah, man, shit. What, he only fought once this year, right?
Yeah, yes. He fought one time. I mentioned it one time. It's like he looks like a bum now, like he's living in the streets. For example, something's like off with him.
You mean physically, like if he looks disheveled, but you're not talking about how he looks in the ring.
Yeah, he looks disheveled. Yeah, it's like one time like I mentioned it in Tijuana a long time ago. some dude thought he was all bad, like hanging out like with his homeboys, talking about like cartel stories, and he started picking on me and fucking like he killed one of my roosters.
Whoa!
Because he was bullying me inside the fucking inside the bar, not because he like killed him, but he made me so angry that my fucking rooster had a heart attack and he fucking died. And I got real upset and I punched him.
I shouldn't laugh.
I punched the dude and after that he was roaming the streets like a fucking homeless guy for many months.
Whoa.
And some lady told me, yeah. And that day they came looking for me, so I had to hide out in the fucking closet. Then later, the hatchet got buried because I had to pay the hospital bills for him. Some dude came over. He's like, "That's all you got to pay the hospital bills for this guy because you broke his face." But then after, that dude never got his shit together. He was like roaming the streets like a homeless man. So basically, the same look that I see, that's the same look that I see in his eyes. He's not
Gonzalo, you butt broke the guy.
I want to know what the fuck would hide in the closet. Yeah. What the fuck does that mean?
I like it.
After I hit him, they came looking for me, him and his buddies.
Yeah,
So,
but you couldn't you couldn't just hide in your house. You had to go in the closet.
No, but we're talking about the hotels in Tijuana. There's many hotels. Yeah.
I thought you were like hunting you down at your house and you were in the closet. No, all right, brother.
No, but the dude actually did me dirty, man. No, because the guy that was monitoring the door for the hotel, he opened the door for him to come inside. So that means you got to be smart, man. All the heroes are buried in the cemetery. You can't win them all.
That's right. Nope. That's very well. Hey, mate, but he gave your rooster a heart attack. I didn't mean to laugh, but it was just, you know how you are, Gonzalo. You say so many things. You add so many things into a story without context. It just sounds funny.
Yeah, I know. I know. Out of nowhere, I hear fucking dead rooster hiding in the closet. I'm like, whoa.
They had given me a rooster as a present. And sometimes I used to take them into the bars in Tijuana because they got the jukebox. And I used to play Mexican music, and the rooster, when they're happy and they're prideful, the rooster starts singing. So it's like, yeah, people wanted to see my rooster and like whatever, and like just took him to the bar one day, and some guy started bullying me, made me real angry, and the fucking rooster started getting real angry as well. And for some reason, the rooster had a fucking heart attack, so he died, and I blamed it on the guy. And fucking, I came back, I took the rooster to a place where I put him away, and I came back and I punched the guy. I broke his face basically.
Oh.
So the dude used to be like this dude. He thought he was all bad, but all of a sudden after that, the guy went homeless, and he basically never recovered.
Jeez, Gonzalez, I wouldn't want to get punched. Take a punch from you, man. My goodness gracious. But anyway, listen, that's a heck of a story right there, man. So the guy, so you're saying all of that to say that Jose Carlos Ramirez now looks like a bum, is what you're saying, and you're talking facially. He looks like a very unkept individual.
I think if he fights Regis Prograis, he will lose. I think something's off with him. I could be wrong.
No, I think I'd have to agree, man. He looks like he lost a fight. Again, that could be to Pedraza. I mean, Pedraza's a tricky fighter, but I mean, listen, Ramirez was on a roll, man. Beating Postol, beating Chon Zepeda, beating Amir Imam, knocking on Hooker. Now, though, he seems to. I mean, he's slowed down so much that some people think Prograis just walks through him. And I mean, this is a guy that used to be. He was
the biggest ticket seller in the United States for like through 2017 through 2020 or something. Some crazy thing. He was generating big crowds at his hometown, all organic. So yeah, there was a kind of a thing about him. Honestly, I think when some guys lose a very close fight that they felt they should have won, or they feel they didn't lose, like with that Taylor thing, I think he felt the ref really fucked him when he got that, scored the knockdown because, Taylor cracked him when Ramirez really thought he was being broken apart. I understand, protect yourself at all times, but when a ref's doing one thing all night and then, taps them and then puts his hands up, even his expression, what did you do? Like that look he fucking had.
Yeah, that's...
So...
Yeah, man. Maybe that...
so I think that affects people wrong. Yeah, some people just don't bounce back from that shit. It gives them a bad taste. And look at Triple G. He never was the same after that. They fucking robbed him. He was never the same. He lost love for the sport. Actually, it went from love for the sport to he hated it. Still does. Now he's just a fucking, fucking mercenary. He's just trying to make money off, trying to squeeze every last dollar he can off his name.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a low pass, man. I'm going to give him a low pass. All right, we got to keep moving, man, because we're almost...
me too.
Okay, low pass. There you go. We're all on the same page here. Now we got to keep moving here because fuck, man, we're already 2 hours in, and some of these guys, I don't think there's going to be that much to say though. So let's see. That was 140 pounds. Oh, let's go to Teofimo Lopez, 2 wins, won a resounding victory over Campa, who was really not that, wasn't a top 10 guy, but at least he took him out. And then just recently struggled to a decision against a very complicated and slippery Xandor Martin. Fellas, what say ye for the former undisputed lightweight champion of the world? And I do say undisputed because there was no dispute in my eyes. Fuck the belts. But what do you say?
You want to go first, Jimmy, or I'll go?
No, you go, Gonzalo.
I'm not sure, man. I'm tempted to giving him a fail because now he don't got the belts, and right now at 140, I don't think he beats the big dogs. We're talking about Prograis earlier. Who knows about Jose Carlos Ramirez? And there's just a lot of Subrez Matias. I mean, this last fight, I thought he won. It was close, but he asked that one that saying that he mentioned that's kind of becoming kind of infamous now. Like it's going around the YouTube. How do I still have it? What did he mention to his dad? Do I still got it or something?
Yeah.
He's asking a lot of questions about himself to get validation. Yeah, whatever he said. So it's like I'm kind of tempted to give him a fail because he definitely needs to change trainers. He needs to change trainers or he needs somebody else in there. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of the dad because, like I said, you have to have that moral support, somebody that knows you, some of the advice that the dad's going to give him or just that moral support, he's always going to need that. But basically, man, what can I say, dude? I'm going to give him a pass, but barely.
Okay, can I just say
because
something
he fought
before?
Twice. Okay, that's cool.
Jimmy, before you go, let me just... people in the chat. Super Sardonic says, actually fail. He took an L to his wife in the ring. Sergeant Z USMC says fail for not sacking his loser of a dad. so people got a lot to say there. So Gonzalo, you said pass though, even though you were tempted for a fail. Is that what you said?
I'm not sure, man. What do you guys think? It's like I don't think he gets a belt at 140. He's kind of cheating too, I think.
Well, let's see what Jimmy has to say about that. Yeah.
Well, I want to say about I don't think he's chinny. I think it's kind of a weird situation going on with this kid. Here's a kid who pretends he hates everybody, hates the fucking Twitter sphere. He hates us. You fuck what anybody says, but yet he does things in the ring for validation. He was charging in against that fucking Spaniard, and got clipped in the head with that check hook and went down because he was off balance. You know, people are like, was he stunned? No, he wasn't stunned. He was embarrassed. He stood up. That look on his face wasn't stunned. It was embarrassed because he jumped in. And why is he doing that? Because he wants to knock people out. He wants to do this takeover. And instead of letting this thing about him grow organically, he's trying to force it on people. Like Steve Kim said, like videotaping himself doing stuff or putting it on Instagram, trying to create something. It's not how it works. And that kid... nobody's going to look great against that kid. It's very hard to look great against somebody who's not trying to fight you. And that kid was not trying to fight him. And the problem is, too, but then again, it's kind of his fault because he could have fought Barbosa, but he chose not to fight him. He picked that fucking Spaniard, knowing how that kid fought. So here's your son, again, bad representation. Your father's supposed to be your manager, your trainer, all this other shit. Why the fuck would he put you in knowing you're a pure counterpuncher, right? Why would he put you in against a kid who's not going to engage except for trying to check hook? And then when he goes in there, it was a bunch of things he could have done. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to like all those things we talked about that night. So yeah, no, honestly, but I'm not going to give the kid a fail because he fought twice. He did win. I mean, honestly, I understand that most people don't give a fuck because they don't look at these guys like they're human. But at this point, it's to the point, like, I feel sorry for Lopez. I really do, because I understand it's a lot of his fault. But when you're surrounded by fucking turkeys, it's kind of hard to fly like an eagle. So, and he's not going to get rid of his father. And that's a clean break. Listen, there's no gray area. You can't have that dude in your life at all, involved in your career, because he's not going to ever take a fucking, back second stage to anybody. Even if you tell him, Dad, he's the head trainer, you can be there for... No, that wouldn't happen. His personality wouldn't allow it. And you would have the same situation. Didn't he have, what's his name, came in to help? I heard the same thing. Couldn't fucking deal with his father. That's why he bailed. Nobody wants to deal with that knucklehead.
Jimmy, how do you think that looked like, that the training camp for Lomachenko, like Gamache is probably telling him, hey, listen, you got to tighten up that jab. You got to bring, you got to tuck your elbows in and bring him right back in when you how do you think Lopez Sr. would have intervened in that situation?
Fucking, I've been training this kid since he come out of my wife's cunt.
Come on.
I know what's going on. Shut the fuck up. Or he was all the way home in the car. Oh, listen to that fucking guy, man. He thinks he knows you. Do you love him more than me? I'm your father. So you said so you love me? You don't think I'd fucking do a bunch of cocaine and drink a fifth of vodka and shoot myself?
Well, listen. I got
listen. His jaw's grinding. Somebody sent me a video the other day, a compilation of a bunch of him talking. On fight night or the night before, dude, he's grinding his jaw, his fucking pupils the size of hubcaps. The dude's fucking doing zingers.
He was here in the chat last time, Jimmy. Last show he was here in the chat. He said, "Don't disrespect me, Jimmy." It was him.
That wasn't him. Come on.
Junior Lopez.
That was
it was Junior Lopez because he's been on Rapid. That's him.
Yeah, but there's
he only made one comment.
I know he goes. There's two. I think there's two fake. I know what you're talking about, Gonzalo, but I think there's two fake. Somebody takes the thumbnail from that his real account, and then they've been going around because I don't know. Well, maybe you could be right, Gonzalo. Though I don't know. I fucked up there. I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't him. But anyway.
And I like to give him a fail for marrying that fucking plane waitress.
Oh, come on.
That stewardess, man. Fuck. Oh, she's a bitch, dude. And did you see her the whole time when the camera's on her? She's got her fucking pointing finger pressed against her thumb in the OK sign, and she's snapping it back. And like you could just, she's like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, all set." Like what a bitch.
You saying she bosses him around?
Whip out your cocks. Come on.
Oh, she's listen, know what it is? It's one of those things where she's attractive and she hates him because he's dumb and his family's fucking kind of trash. No, I'm just be honest. A beautiful fucking girl, because she is a real pretty girl, and she knows she could have married up class. She could have married up because her looks would have allowed that. But she married into a trashy family that has some popularity because the fucking son's a boxer, and it's like fucking killing her because she knows she married into trash because fucking the fame, and she hates herself for that, and she's beating the shit out of him for it. That kid's getting it from all around. He needs to fucking put her in a box and fucking get her out of his life and get that fucking father out of his life. I'm telling you right now, he's got the athleticism, he's got the power, and he's willing to fight. He's got all intangibles. It's all the mental shit that's fucking that kid up. He's a talented kid, and he got fucking fast hands he can crack. I'm not going to take that away from him. I just think he's surrounded by fucking donkeys. And until he fixes that, it's just going to get worse before it gets better.
Everything you said made sense. Now we got to get back to the boxing, though, because everything you're saying is correct, but now we're talking about shit outside. But that does play into the grade a little bit, because it's about the support system that you have. And like Jimmy's saying, if he doesn't have any support, that could be problematic for him when it comes to certain areas here of his professional life. Now, I'll say I'll give him a pass because, first of all, Xander Martin was a late replacement. Remember, guys, he was supposed to fight Pedraza, and then Xander Martin went in there. And Xander Martin, like Jimmy said, is going to be a problem for anybody because of his style, and he's a very good defensive fighter. He's not a great offensive fighter, but he's a great defensive fighter. But then again, that's also to Teofimo Lopez's fault as a fighter. He's not a come-get-you fighter. I mean, just look at how he fought Nakatani and how Lomachenko fought Nakatani. Two completely different styles. Lopez is a guy he's a pure boxer puncher. And if you don't give him a clean target, he's not that great at chasing you down. But he did get 2 wins. He did beat Xander Martin, and I guarantee you there's a lot of guys that are going to be struggling with Xander Martin as boxing goes on. So I'm going to give him a pass. Certainly wasn't a stellar career. Certainly a far cry from the 2020 year he had when he beat Lomachenko and Comey. But then again, that Lomachenko win, I mean, there's a lot to say about that win. And we've been trying to tell people about it, but nobody wanted to listen. And now you're starting to see that Teofimo Lopez is a good fighter, but it's doubtful that he'll ever be what people thought he was going to be, which is, pound for pound king. But he's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. All right, let's move on here. We still got some long way to go. So we'll try to move through this fast because we're almost at the 2:30 mark here. Let's go. Now we're at the... are we at the welterweight division? Well, whether we are or not, let's go to the welterweight division. Let's go to... Hold on a second. I'm trying to look for the names here. Where are they? Don't forget to hit a like, fellas. Hit a like. I'm going to check the like counter, and I better see it increase from the last time that I checked it out.
I was the first one to hit the like, Mr.
There
BEA.
you go. We got the Chief in the house. Shout out to the Chief. All right, let's go real quick. A guy that only fought once this year. Virgil Ortiz.
I'm I'm gonna give him a pass. He's slated to fight for Stanionis, whatever that thing's called. What is it? What do you call that? Fucking man.
Purse bid?
Yeah, purse bid. Yeah, for a title. So okay, cool.
Well,
as far as his performance, one thing, I don't know. Yeah, as far as his performances, he's still on a KO streak. So he's getting into that fucking like rarefied air that we want to see if he's still going to continue knocking motherfuckers out. So yeah, I mean, no, he was sick and he only fought one time, and he's being a little bit of a diva. I don't know. Then he fired what's his name from RGBA, the trainer.
Oh, Garcia.
Not saying that it was necessarily Garcia, Robert Garcia, that it was his fault. But yeah, the dude still got the knockout streak going, man. That keeps him alive in my book. And like I said, he's fighting Stanionis if they win the purse bid.
Well, yeah,
so I'll give him a pass.
He won the purse bid, but doesn't mean they're going to fight because Stanionis might not take that fucking, because what is he going to get, a 25% split, I believe, because he lost the bid. So Tom Brown Promotions. The thing is, right, the problem is with somebody like Virgil Ortiz, the kid was fighting 3-4 times a year up until, 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden, bang, now he's become once-a-year fighter. You're going to see his fucking skills deteriorate before he even becomes a champion. You cannot do this sport part-time and progress. He's plateaued now. Like, where he is now, I think is where he's going to be 5 years from now, if not worse, because you can't fight once a year. Especially a fucking power puncher, stalker, a boxer puncher. You know what I mean? You need to fucking fight more often. So I'm so disgusted that he only. And I didn't like the comments when was it him? I remember. I think it was him who was like, did he say he was all right with fighting once a year or twice a year? I think he might have said twice, but yeah, no, these guys got to start fighting more often. And if you don't, you're not going to see it. You're going to see the strike knockout thing start to decline because his ability is going to erode. Can't fucking do the sport part-time and progress.
Nope. And to piggyback off of that, Jimmy, but this comes down largely to it not being the fighter's fault. And you can say it's his fault for signing with Golden Boy or anything else. Golden Boy doesn't have that much more of a platform than anyone else. They are with DAZN, but and DAZN can put some stuff out there. But Oscar himself, Oscar is the Jerry Jones of boxing. Once he got rid of Richard Schaefer, which was his Jimmy Johnson, everything went to crap. And Ortiz is suffering for it. He had a really good CEO that was putting fights out there, signing good fighters, getting things entertaining, giving some of the room that they made their money on was like Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman and guys that turned out to not be that great. But when they were young, he signed them all and they had this big stable of up-and-coming talent. And then once they left and it was put all on Oscar to do it all, and he said, I can do it myself. Look what's happened. What's Golden Boy turned into? Oh, we still had Canelo, but then Canelo left him. Now what has he got? He should be finding every avenue to put Ortiz out there for everyone to see this kid on a regular basis so that he can keep his skills sharp, like Jimmy's saying. But two, when you've got a kid that's all knockouts, you've got something that people are going to gravitate to quickly and people are going to want to see. Then you're going to have multiple, instead of signing with just DAZN, he should be making the kid a free agent. And everyone's going to say, well, we want him on next. Well, we want him on next. Well, we want him on next. Why is everyone going to say this? They want to be the TV network that still hosts the kid with all the knockouts.
That's a good point.
I give him a pass also. I'm sorry, I'm going to wrap up real quick. I give him a pass also, but it's based off his potential versus what he did this year.
I'm tempted
I'd like to give the whole fucking division a fail, personally.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Yeah, I want to give him a fail because it's true. It's that promoter's fault, blah blah blah. But I mean, it is what it is. He got injured. Oh, and then by the way, he got injured, and then some questioned whether he was really injured or whether it was a weight issue. And then he went after the reporter and said, "I'm not going to answer your questions because you intimate." So that's a bit of a bad move there. But I mean, also one fight a year. He did what he had to against a mobile fighter. That's hard to do coming off an injury, knocking out a guy that's going to make you look bad. And he didn't look bad, but it was one fight a year. I'm very tempted to give him a fail, man. So, Gonzalo, what did you say? Pass? Gonzalo, I
give him a pass because I like the fact that he knocked out that dude. He kept pressing for the knockout. I know his opponent didn't have a lot of KOs, but still, the way he landed that shot to the hip. Is a hip shot a legal shot, BDA, or is it legal?
Headshot, well,
a hip shot is illegal. You can't punch somebody on the hip.
No.
Well, he caught him in his leg. His leg went dead, and he just couldn't fucking walk. Like he caught him with whether illegal or not, he got the knockout. The dude, he couldn't even walk no more.
All right, well, Jimmy, you said pass. Jimmy, you said pass, right?
Yeah, I'd say pass, but barely. I mean, honestly, right across the board, fucking Ennis, the shit that he just came out and said, Boots Ennis. I don't like the shit that's come out of his mouth lately. He's about to fight the 59th ranked guy in the world.
Jimmy, Jimmy, for time's sake, we gotta. Okay, well, okay, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying for the whole, count me as a fail for the whole fucking welterweight division.
All right.
You don't even have to ask me any more questions.
All right, and Chief said pass. I mean, whatever I say it doesn't matter anymore because all of you guys went with a pass. But I was very tempted to give him a fail. If it were up to me, I'd give him a fail. But I'm gonna have to go with the panel here and give him a. But listen. Since I have to say pass because everyone else did it, I'm gonna say very low pass. I mean, it was a bad year.
I'm with you on that, sir.
It was a bad year
on that, and it's due to not very much activity, and it almost seems like what you guys are alluding to, that it's almost like a little bit of a prima donna sense is starting to creep up on him, which he didn't have before. So I understand very low pass, but my pass is not due to what he did this year; it's based off his potential.
A guy that's in the same boat as he is, or even worse, one could say, this guy's on a fucking. If Virgil's on a sinking boat, this guy's on a Haitian boat ramp or whatever. You know, when they grab a bunch of tires and jugs and they try to float to Florida with this. Jaron Ennis, who only fought once this year, and it's not really his fault that he only fought a couple of rounds, 2 rounds. What was it, under 2 rounds? Because I mean, listen, he's the one that knocked him out. So
4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes. But I mean, that's because he knocked him out. So, but what do you guys say? 1 fight, 4 minutes, and now he's fighting Karen. What's he?
Well, look, everybody knows that I'm sorry. Everyone knows that I'm one of the biggest supporters of him on this panel, but I got to give a fail, and it pains me to do so. And the fail is not in him. Again, it's back to piss poor management. That they have such talents between these two guys, and like I said, networks and platforms should be fighting over these guys if their PR people actually did their job. But they chose to sign with these people. They're not getting on social media saying that, calling these guys out to get them more fights. They're not taking their careers in their own hands. And if they're just satisfied with being worshipped by the people around them, thinking that they're turning into idolizations of fighters of the past without doing anything, they're gravely mistaken. And for that reason, both of he and Ortiz get a quote-unquote pass off of potential, but no, Ortiz actually put more work in, took on a tougher opponent, and actually tried to better himself based off the quality of competition. I don't see that they did that with Ennis. Huge supporter of his, but I have to give him a fail.
Who wants to go next?
Well, I'll go next. I'm with Chief on that. I'm a huge Boots supporter. I think he's got a ton of God-given talent. But the fuck, it's getting old, man. I'm not gonna invest the time and emotions into a fighter who's not gonna fight anybody. Fucking Karen, 59th ranked guy in the world. He's about to fight. Are you shitting me? After fighting fucking another stiff. I know he was undefeated, but he was a nobody. He was in there to lose. And he knocked him out in 2 rounds. Of course he did, because he's a talented kid who can crack. But I mean, what the fuck? What are we doing here? And you know, every fight, if he's long as he stays with the PBC, anytime he fights anybody with a heartbeat, it's going to be a pay-per-view. I mean, I have a hard time getting behind any PBC fighter at this point. And I understand he's not according to Hoyle, typical PBC fighter because he's not signed to Al Heyman, but signed to Gary Shaw and in Showtime. That means has to do what the fuck Al Heyman says. So, yeah, I'm going to give him the same thing I gave boy there, Ortiz, pass by the skin of his dick.
Gonzalo?
This guy, I think he's the same age as Virgil, maybe a little bit older. He's fought nobody. The guys that he's fought, he's bigger than those guys. He's fighting 140-pounders in Custio Clayton and Lipinets. But he's getting the knockouts, and this guy that he fought, I don't know nothing about him. I don't even know what happened, what was the outcome of that fight. Man, I'm just going to give him a pass because if I gave Virgil a pass, I'm going to give this dude a pass, but nothing spectacular. I'm tempted to give him a fail, a little bit slighter. I'm tempted to give him a fail a little bit more than I did Virgil, but freaking, I'm just going to give him a pass, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we give Virgil Ortiz a pass or a low pass, because I wanted to give him a fail. I wanted to give him a fail, and I would like to give Jaron Ennis a fail too. But you guys went with pass, so I get you're being consistent. I mean, you're saying, look, it's not his fault, blah, 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 and it should be a fail, but at least they got the win. And unfortunately, we're comparing this to the modern era now, which is these guys fighting once a year seems to be the norm. Twice is the norm. 3 times is exceptional. So I'm going to have to concur with you. Low pass. In fact, I would try to make this a fail, but just like with Virgil Ortiz, it's going to be a low pass. Because, hey, listen, knockout win, it takes you a good long way. But by the way, Jimmy, when you were breaking that down, you were saying that he's fighting Karen, who's he's a nobody, blah, blah, blah. I remember what Espinosa told Montero. He's on Twitter. He's like, clearly, strategic thinking is not your strong suit. This is a fight that's going to place him as a mandatory for blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, oh, okay, so he's going to, because it's a mandatory position for a title. That's strategic thinking. That's politics. Nobody gives a shit about titles. Anybody can win a title.
Yeah, and he was already he was already a mandatory. What is it like? That was so stupid. Listen, I'm so glad he unfollowed me on Twitter. Now I don't have to be nice about him anymore. Espinosa is a fucking knucklehead. Really is. He is a fucking idiot. He's an emotional, says stupid ass shit. Typical libtard. Yeah, no, fuck him. That was a real dumb shit he said to Montero.
You little fucking weasel.
I mean, that's what McGregor said about him.
You fucking weasel.
I mean, hey, listen, I'm not saying it.
If there's ever a man that looks like a weasel.
I mean, wait, listen. Might be a little bit mean to say that. I don't know. All right. So, yeah, that's Jaron Ennis.
So I guess you can switch me to a low pass on him, too. Just so I can be consistent. But we're moving on, right?
You got to stick to your principles there, Chief. You can't let other people sway you too much. I don't want you getting bullied by these guys.
It's the standard. We set a standard with Ortiz, and I'm not, by switching to a low pass, I'm actually sticking with my standard. Instead of being persuaded, it's based off the standard of the criteria that we judged on. I don't want to be hypocritical on one and not the other, especially since I'm higher on Ennis than I am on Ortiz. So
don't sweat
it'd be fair to switch him to low pass.
I was just kidding around about you being bullied, man. Come on. Speaking of the welterweight division, Terence Crawford fought once this year. He hit so hard, his gloves fucking ripped open. And even the commission didn't know what, they were so impressed, they didn't know what to do. So he gets one win over Avanesian. Look, Avanesian's a tough guy. He's a gatekeeper. Kavaluska stopped him not that long ago. So, but the Crawford does it all of a sudden. He's the main honcho there, pound for pound. But what do you guys think? One win, one fight.
Avanesian was a top 10 fucking welterweight. He really was. I mean, he was ranked top 10 by 2 belts, I believe, 2 different sanctioning bodies.
Wow.
Yeah. He's not a fucking punk. So, yeah, I mean, he's a top 10. It's better than fucking 29th or 59th ranked Karens. And he did, I mean, I don't know how the fuck it was a TKO. He stretched him out. I don't know why they didn't call it a straight knockout, which is what it was. And I also believe wholeheartedly, although I think he's a jackass, even thinking that was a good strategy to try to squeeze money out of Top Rank by saying he was a racist, although I'm glad the fact that he's not going to push that. I believe wholeheartedly it was him trying to make that. He was trying to do whatever he could to make the Errol Spence fight. And I believe, I know, in fact, it was not so much Spence, but Al Heyman, who went out of his way, strung fans along, leaked shit that fight was going to be made. The whole time he knew it wasn't going to be made because he didn't have any money. They had to wait for the fucking Showtime budget. So, yeah, but I'm not going to, I'm just going to give him a pass because at the end of the day, he only fought once. And the fight didn't get made. So, yeah, I'm just going to give him a pass.
All right. Well, listen, that's fair. Who wants to go next?
So again, one of the guys that I'm one of the few people, the highest, fan of his on the panel. Disappointed in what's going on with his career. He tried to take his career in his own hands, but when you're not your own promoter, you're just a free agent. There's only so much you can do. You can't send offers. You can't you can't make a whole bunch of things happen. When Floyd became his own promoter, he was backed by a network. He could send offers to fighters and make things happen. Bud can't do that. So, like Jimmy said, he did what Evander Holyfield did to try and fight Mike Tyson. He kind of sold out. Evander Holyfield was not going to do business with Don King any more than he could help it, and then he signed for Don King to be his promoter so he could get the Mike Tyson fight. And then stayed with Don King for several fights after because he got trapped in that Don King contract. Bud was trying to do something very similar. All right, anything I can do to get myself as far away from Bob Arum as possible to where Al's going to want to work with me so I can get this fight, and then it didn't happen. I think he needs to move on. He took a smart financial deal from what we've been told. We don't know what the final payouts were, but it was more than what he was going to be guaranteed with the Spence fight. He's still at 100% knockout ratio at 147, regardless of quality competition. Because
but let's stick to the year though, Chief. Let's stick to this year.
I know it's only once this year. We're only doing for the year. Okay, I understood, sir. I understand, sir. But my point is the fact that my point's moot if we're only sticking with the year. So I'm going to move on from that point. It's a low pass. His skills are not diminishing greatly. He's still the guy that he's always been able to switch hit. He's a power puncher. He can do a little bit of everything. But he didn't display it that great. So I'll go with a low pass.
Low pass, all right. Gonzalo?
Yeah, this year, he fought once. I think he did better than his counterpart, Errol Spence. If I'm gonna pick the better of the two evils. Yeah. So he separated from Top Rank this year. He's still he's still getting the knockouts. And separating from Top Rank is kind of like he threw that dude under the bus. He talked very negative about that man. By the way, it was his birthday about a few days ago. He turned 91. But anyways, it showed something from his character that's kind of negative. But at the same time, like Chief was saying, he separated himself from him trying to be more open to work with the PBC. That at least you could see that he has the right intentions. Although that's not working too well for him as of now. Hopefully that fight happens next year. He got the victory against a rated opponent and David Venetian. So he got the knockout. I'm going to give him a low pass.
I'm going to give him a low pass too, because at least he got the win and he did it by knockout. And Avenesian, to Jimmy's, like Jimmy said, he was a top guy. I mean, even Ring Magazine, I think, had him top 10 overall. So I'm going to give him a low pass, but I mean, and I'm not even going to get into the glove thing right now, but I'll give him a low pass.
Yeah, but we got to wait for them gloves to come back from the laboratory, BDA, because once we get the findings of whatever the fuck was inside them things, we might have to reevaluate this.
Yeah, maybe, man. But anyway, but listen, we'll give him a low pass. It would have been easier, like Jimmy said, just to give all of these guys a fail. But the rules dictate that we got to go. We got to be fair to these guys. So let's go to the other big name here in the welterweight division, and that is, of course, Errol Spence. He fought once this year, just like Terence Crawford, and he did it by beating the crap out of Yordenis Ugas. Fellas, what say ye for Errol Spence?
Well, it's going to have to be a pass for picking up a third belt and against someone that nobody wants to fight, even though I think Ugas is highly overrated based off of his close decision off of Porter, which was, 5 years ago? But that's what he's riding his high on. And then a very, I won't say controversial, but there are people out there like myself that think that his win over Manny Pacquiao was underwhelming and underimpressive. And there some arguments to some fans, myself included, that say that Manny might have deserved a small squeak in that fight. So in other words, I didn't think it was Ugas's win over Manny wasn't enough to meet up his credentials for Spence's win over him. But it was still another title win. It's a guy that nobody wants to fight. He went to war with the guy, and he gave him a good beating. Now, he got stunned several times by a guy whose knockout ratio is under 40%.
Wait a minute.
But he still pulled the knockout out, and he gave him a pretty good beating, and no one's really beaten Ugas up like that. So it's going to be a low pass.
Okay, so you see, right, the same thing as Terence Crawford. Lopez. All right. I want to hear from other people then. Jimmy? Or, excuse me, whoever wants to go first. Sorry. Well, go ahead, Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm just going to give him a Lopez, too. Lopez. I forgot that he fought freaking Yordenis Ugas in the beginning of the year. I think that fight must have been around, February or March?
That was in March, I believe. Yeah.
March, okay. Still fought on, but man, dude, from March till now, dude, that's like 9 months. It is December, right?
Yes.
What is this? What is like? It's not even in the middle of a year. It's in the beginning of the year. Then, dude, it's like, what are you doing in your life? Yeah.
Well, to piggyback off to help you out, Gonzo, he fought him in April, and he didn't fight all in 21, even though we're not grading 21. So his only fight since 2020 was Ugas.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
What is the saying, go, BD? An idle mind is the devil's playground?
That's right. That is correct, man. And listen. Well, actually, hold on. Jimmy Reno, are you there? Is he unmuted? Hold on. Yeah, Jimmy, I can hear you, man. Now I hear you. Errol Spence.
Just because he won this year, I'm giving him a pass by the skin of his dick. Because I wasn't over impressed with that Ugas fight. Like Chief said, he was hurt a few times. But I'm not, he's solid, foundational fighter who's an alcoholic and kind of basic, kind of a 1-2 kind of guy. You know what I mean? You're going to get what you're going to get from him. I'm just not overly impressed with his resume. I think I just think they've never wanted to make that Bud fight. And whatever. Yeah, no, I'll give him a pass. But definitely not an honor roll. That's for damn sure. Once a year, fucking Sally.
Yeah, look, I'm surprised you guys are giving him a low pass, which is like on the same category as Crawford. I'm gonna give him a pass higher. If we go with Crawford low pass, Errol Spence has to be a middle pass just because he beat a better opponent. But it's also his fault that he's with the PBC. Now he keeps signing with the PBC because he's one of the few guys that the PBC actually gives good fights to, even though it's only once a year. But at least he got the Ugas. He got himself, he's beaten Kell Brook was still a top fighter. So Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, now Ugas. But, that's only one fight this year. Any other year, any other era, that would have been a fail, just one fight. But we are in the era of one fight per year. So he got it. But I understand why you guys are giving him a low pass. So, I guess we'll just notch it up. I'm not getting into a debate about, no, it's going to be a low pass, whatever. You guys want low pass? Low pass. But he passed, at least.
Look, and Errol Spence wouldn't have re-signed with Al. What it is when amongst their contracts, a lot of people said the reason why a few years back when Thurman took 2.5 years out, it was something to do with he was trying to get himself out of the contract. Because with Heyman, if you make X amount of dollars in one calendar year, you're automatically re-upped for 2 more.
Uh-huh.
So minute he gets paid, you get automatically re-upped. It's all worked in that way. Basically, all the contracts are worked where it's up to Al if you back away. He has full, you have no autonomy over your body. So
yeah, he's got it figured out, man. He owns them. He's a pimp. He pimps them. Actually, it's more like a slave owner. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. By the way, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. We got the webcams on for Errol Spence right now. Let's see what he's up to. Hold on a sec. Yeah, what is he up to?
Let's see what's happening.
It's so hard. I take full responsibility. He was.
Hold on a sec. It's not working out here. What's going on? There we go.
So yeah, it's just been so hard. I take full responsibility. He was cheating on me, so I did run that nigga over with my car, but we would appreciate. Would you want to go to Dubai, baby? Do you want to go to Dubai, baby?
Dubai?
I mean, listen, people. I didn't even want to touch that when it first came out because that was disturbing to watch. But now that when people, this Errol Spence fans go, no, that was a joke. That was a joke. How the fuck do you know
that
was a joke? Because they posted. I mean, come on, man. Listen.
This lady is a joke. Why would she put him out like that?
Yeah, she betrayed him because, well, if you listen to what she says, he cheated on me. He smashed up my car. So that was her payback. You know what I mean? He probably loves her. I think isn't it the mother of one of his kids, maybe? I don't know. But he's probably in love with her. And he cheated on her. And that was her payback. Wanted to put him on blast. I noticed he didn't come out and say anything about it. If that was a joke and he saw the fucking tsunami of hate and bullshit he caught from people on Twitter, that kid would have come out and said, man, what are you guys talking about? We were fucking around. My friend recorded it. It was a joke. Or I was a little wasted. But yeah, I knew she was posting it. Nothing. Silence. Silence was fucking deafening in that situation. Yeah, he was wasted. It sounded like a combination of benzos and vodka. Either way, man, a professional boxer, how many times have I seen that kid on fucking TV drunk? Shows up at fights one time with Easter, and he was fucking... You know, two people drink to get to that blind drunk where you're that fucking out of your mind on alcohol. Alcoholics and frat boys.
Yeah, like you said though, that probably wasn't alcohol. That was, like you said, that was probably something else. But anyway, listen, I don't want to harp on too much on the
painkillers, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, man. But anyway, listen, let's move on. By the way, don't forget to hit the like. And we skipped one of the big names here. Prior in the lightweight division.
Thurman?
Tank Davis in the lightweight division. I'm saying we forgot Tank Davis. One fight, one knockout over a failed prospect. What?
Fail.
Who did he fight?
Fought fucking Rolly Romero. He fought a special needs kid, and Ray was losing until he caught him with a fucking big shot. He was losing on the judges' cards. He was losing a lot. He lost rounds to Rolly Romero. I don't give a fuck what the context is. He was losing rounds to that slug who we haven't seen him fight yet. Wait till we see that kid fight again. Remember what the fuck people were saying about Rolly Ray? He was Twitter fodder. He was a joke. He would fight bums and fucking look terrible against them. And then all of a sudden he fights Tank Davis and they sold it up. You know, because you're a power puncher and, you know, just LB keep going, yeah, no, that whole thing's a disaster. Until he actually fights somebody, it's a fail for me. His whole fucking career is a fail.
I'm going to give him
Go ahead, Gonzo.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to give him a slight pass because he is scheduled to fight in the beginning of the year. Now, I know that year is not this year, but it's slightly past year's end. And if he wins that fight, probably he will. Let's hope that he keeps good on his promise to fight Ryan Garcia. But as far as qualifying for now, he got rid of Mayweather or whatever happened. They parted ways. I'm going to see that as a good thing. That now, okay, he's going to take some better fights. Like I'm saying, he's scheduled to fight on the beginning of next year. So that's good. One win, okay. But he's not a champion. He doesn't even got a legitimate title. I don't know.
Gonzalo. But here's the thing, dude. He left Mayweather, but he's still with the guy who makes the final decision. Yes, he was with Mayweather Promotions, but Al had the final say. It's just a subsidiary of PBC. So yeah, he just doesn't like Ellaby and he doesn't like fucking Floyd, but he's still under the PBC umbrella. And I'm not going to give him credit for a fight he hasn't fought yet. He is scheduled to fight Garcia. It's going to be his best fight. I'm talking Hector, not Ryan. But he's still a kid who is a career 126-pounder that they're dragging up to 135. Remember, he's only had 2 fights at 130. So, yeah, no, it is his best opponent. But again, I'll give him a fucking pass next year then. But that's 2023. Hasn't happened yet. So I'm going by 2022. He fought a kid who should be wearing a fucking hockey helmet out in public. So no. Fail.
So what's going to sway me one way or the other and to see if I'm going with Gonzalo or Jimmy is, where was Rolly ranked? Was he a top 10 ranked guy even at body?
No.
We're sure about that.
Well, he was bumped up to 10 by one organization for no reason. They just put him up there so they could say, which you can buy your way into that. Slip him a few fuck grand. Slap you up to 10. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. You and I both know how the sport works.
Exactly.
But if we're gonna hold Ortiz and Bud to a low pass based off the fact they beat guys that were ranked, then regardless of whether he walked Rolly down patiently, and that was his game plan, or he was losing rounds because he was getting outclassed till he caught the guy, he fought that guy that was in the top 10. And the thing about it is we don't consider the regular WBA title on this on our panel as a real title, so that you can't call it a title shot, not by our standards. And for the record, Ortiz is getting a shot at Stenadis for a regular title also, so that really doesn't count much either. So by putting that into context, he fought a guy with a meaningless belt that's made of paper, and he was looking unimpressive to many. And he was losing rounds to a person he should have blown out in 3 rounds versus the 6 that it went. Yeah.
I mean, listen, it's not a.
I want to say fail. Because it's not because I don't like Gervonta Davis. It's because he did not do much this year, and the opponent that they did. But given that's not his fault, it was still the promotional people that made this decision for him. The fact that he's leaving them shows the fact that he might want something else. But still, what we had in front of us was an underwhelming performance against a substandard fighter for a paper championship. And by putting it that way, because that's what it really was, it's hard to give it a pass. I'm going to have to go with Jimmy.
I'm going to give it I'm very tempted to give him a fail. Because now some people can say, well, wait a minute, you gave Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz a low pass. Why won't you give this guy a low pass if you got to win? But it's because the standard too. People hold him to this great standard, like, oh, he's a pound for pound. Even like Jimmy said on Twitter, there was some fucking ghetto-ass Nimrod saying, oh yeah, Naoya Inoue is a nobody. He's beating up nobodies. Tank Davis would beat him. Meanwhile, Tank Davis, so he's this, supposedly he's this big pound for pound star, and he's fighting a failed prospect. I mean, really, think about it. Like you guys said, fucking Rolly Romero's best win on paper was Jackson Marinas, and he shouldn't have won that fight. So the next best opponent on his record was fucking Anthony Yigit. That's his best win, and we're supposed to clamor. So I'm very tempted to, because of the fact that it was only one fight, the fact that he was actually losing the fight, I'm very tempted to give him a fail, but he did pull off the win. So I'm going to be generous. So people can see that I am indeed a generous person. And I've got mercy for people. I'm going to give him a low pass. And that's where we ended there. But really has to step it up.
Where are we at now? We got 2 low passes and 2 fails. How do we resolve that?
Am I not merciful?
Listen, I'm giving him we got to move on from a lot of these names. So I'm giving him a pass. Fuck it. Very low pass. Because we gave fucking Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz low passes. And they fought crap. So I'm going to be merciful, man. Yeah, there you go. But of course, it's BDA Boxing, the merciful. There you go. All right.
Yes, BDA, it's your show. So in a tie, it goes to whatever decision you make. However, I want to say one more thing on this to wrap this part up, is that he still is a quote-unquote championship level fighter. The other 2 are still prospects / contenders. There's a different standard we have to hold them to.
There you go. Oh, that's true. That's true.
And we're moving on.
Yeah, because otherwise we're going to be here all night, man. But I agree with you. I agree. Jermell Charlo, 154 pounds, only one fight, but it was a knockout win, a stoppage win over the undefeated Castaño, a guy that gave him fits in the first fight in 2021. Now he took him out, but it was only one fight, but he got all the belts. He beat an undefeated fighter. Guys, what do you say?
He would have fought a second time, but Zhu's fist was needed surgery or was injured, and so that fight had to be postponed till next year. Because that was his next fight. He was going to of the belts that jumped to say you have to defend ours first. The WBO was the first one saying Zhu gets the first shot. Now, since that happened, he could have fought. I forget the other guy's name. That 6'5" guy.
Fundora, yeah.
Yeah, he could have fought Fedora, but I don't know what the situation or why he waited. All I know is the WBO definitely wanted them to have their shot at Charlo and not just a vacant title. Point being, he would have fought twice if it weren't for the fact that Zhu was injured. We don't know he would have won that fight. I still think he has a chance of beating Zhu has a chance of beating Charlo. I'm not saying it's a surefire shot. I think he has a chance to beat him. But And I've said many times over, this guy's a hot and cold fighter. He underperforms when you don't expect him to. He underperforms when he's supposed to perform very well against a fighter he's supposed to beat easily. And then in the rematch, he usually does better. He did knock out Tony Harrison, even if he was losing to him in the rematch. And he did knock out Castano in the rematch. This was for the kit and caboodle, and this is the first undisputed champion in that division I think we've had ever since the WBC and the WBA split back in the 70s. So I'm gonna have to give him. I'm definitely gonna have to give him a pass. I don't know. I mean, off today's standard, I guess it's almost honor roll, but
that's true, yeah.
It's definitely higher than a low pass. This has got to be a solid pass. It's tough, undefeated opponent, all the marbles, first undisputed since the 70s. Hard, solid pass.
All right. Who else wants to go next?
I'm gonna give I'm tempted to give him a high pass, but I'm just gonna give him like Chief a solid pass. I know that's not even a criteria, but it's put in perspective. It's not a low pass. It's he unified the titles in a division that seems to be like a revolving door. I don't know why, because it goes from 8-ounce gloves to 10-ounce gloves, and the dudes just get a little bit bigger and they punch a little bit harder. Where not everybody's stringing together victories. Listen, and I thought he lost the first Castano fight. They hurt each other twice, but he reivindicated himself in the rematch by knocking out Castano. So yeah, he's stringing together the victories at 154, where, like I mentioned, it's hard to put together 2 wins in a row.
That's right.
He's collecting the belts. So yeah, and then he's slated to fight, like Chief mentioned, the guy got hurt, Costa Suzan, Timzu. Yeah, sometime in the early part of next year. So I'm gonna give him a solid pass.
All right, there you go. We got 2 high passes. Jimarino, what say ye? All right, I think Jimmy's
on Tank.
No, we're Jermell Charlo now, Jimmy.
Jermell Charlo. Oh yeah, I give him a high pass.
Jimmy, what are you doing, man? All right, high pass. Yeah,
I'm carrying groceries in from the car, dude. That's what I'm doing.
I knew it had something to do with groceries. See, Jimmy's too much of a gentleman to let his wife just do the all the work by herself. Shout out to you, Jimmy. You're commanding. I would have left her. I would have left her. Sink or swim, baby. That's how it is. What do you want from me? All right. So Jimmy said pass. Yeah, listen, he could have been a fucking honor roll, but he's with the PBC, so hey, what do you want? But hey, listen, it's better than some of the shit other people have done. So high pass for Jermell Charlo. All right. Hold on a second. Where are we at here? Hey, let's go to 160 pounds. His brother, Jermall Charlo. Now, come on, fellas. Do we really have much to say here? Let's move quickly through this one.
Yeah, fail. Moving on.
We got to make it official, though.
It's a fail, for sure.
Fail. Jimmy? Well, actually, I know what he's going to say.
What, did he even fight this year?
No, he didn't. No. That's the thing. No fights. Yeah. There you go, man. I mean, come on. Hold on.
He only trolled. No, right, BD? He only trolled. He didn't fight, but he went and trolled Bivol. Based off his newfound popularity, he called a dude out that's not even in his division at 60, looking like a fool.
And got dismissed and laughed at.
Yeah, and then he says we'll make it for undisputed. Undisputed in which division? I mean, this guy's losing it, man.
Shame on you!
It's a fail, man. There's not much else to say about that. Yeah. All right. Well, what? Somebody was going to say something? I think.
No, we were agreeing to move on.
Yeah. I mean, come on now. It's Jermell. 0 fights, man. Now, again, some people we could go back and forth about, well, it's the PBC's fault, blah, blah, blah. 0 fights, man. Come on. And he only fought once in 2021, too. So there's a pattern here. Let's go to, I think is this guy, by the way, is this guy 168 or 160 now? Demetrius Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade, he's clown division. I don't know what.
Come on, man.
Let me see. Oh, he's 68, I believe.
Okay, well, he had 1 fight this year. Right? I think.
Hey, man. No, Jesus, dude. This guy's. Can I go into it? Can I jump into it, BD?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
This dude's a fucking fail, man, because if he would have fought Zach Parker instead of John Ryder, he would have became a mandatory to Canelo's 168, one of the titles at 68. But he fucking ducked that guy. And we saw that Parker lost to fucking John Ryder. A definitely winnable fight for fucking Demetrius Andrade. He didn't take that shit. And fucking he also ducked Janibek at 60. Where if he would have beat him, his name would have been more relevant. But guess what? Janibek was in a tough fight with Bentley. And maybe these guys they're just fighting scared where the others are taking fights and looking better against guys that are supposedly are supposed to be like the boogeymans. But no, what I'm basically saying is the dude's not willing to risk. He's not that good. He don't got no balls, man. This guy's a fucking fail for sure.
By the way,
he didn't fight this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 0 fights.
2022. Yeah. So he's an automatic fail.
Yeah, and he wanted to fight the guy that was supposed to fight Conor Eubank, the Eubank son. What's his name? Just for the money, for the popularity.
Well, yeah, Chris Eubank Jr.
Like Jermall, he's posturing, but he's not doing anything. He didn't get himself in any position to take a major fight. He didn't take small fights this year to try and set up for major fights next year. He hasn't even done anything relevant since Canelo told him to get the F out of here. And that was last year. So
and you know what happened, man? Maybe when Canelo told him get the fuck out of here, he thought get out of fucking boxing, and the guy said, okay, no more fights for me. I mean, how else do you explain it? Jimmy, I don't know if Jimmy's there. Jimmy, let us know when you're available, man, because I don't want to keep going rushing you if you're busy.
So isn't that correct, BDA? If he would have beat Zach Parker, he would have became a mandatory to one of Canelo's belts?
I think so.
Well, he could have been a mandatory for one of Canelo's belts just by pressing the WBO to move up and be the mandatory from being middleweight WBO champion. He didn't need a fight to do that. He could have done that just within the organization itself. Who
are we talking about, Maul?
Boo Andrade. What I was thinking,
fuck out of here.
What I'm basically saying, John Ryder's getting the Canelo fight. See what I'm saying? If Andrade would have beat Zach Parker, he probably would also got the Andrade fight. But anyways, that's all.
Oh wow! Look at this guy.
One of the reasons why he probably didn't have a fight this year is he just left Eddie Hearn, and I'm sure there was some litigation behind closed doors to get that done. I'm not defending him. I'm just putting out the proposal of probably why we didn't see more of him. We don't see him much to begin with anyway, because he's at most a twice-a-year fighter. But he didn't fight, and that's the bottom line. He wasn't in the news saying, I'm doing this. In like November or December, he made the announcement that he left Eddie Hearn. He had no fights at all whatsoever. He didn't schedule anything, and he didn't try and, like Gonzalez said, whether that fight would have been relevant for him to get a shot at Canelo or not, he did nothing to try. He didn't even press his own organization to try and make him mandatory. He could have at least done that, and I might have given him a consideration for a low path, because he would have been trying to do something for his career, but he did absolutely nothing for himself.
All right, listen. We spent too much time on this fucker already. Fail all around. That's for sure.
You disgust me.
Hold on a second. How do I take this fucking picture off? All right, there you go. Fail. 0 fights. 0.0. All right. Let's move on here. Let's try to make this quick. Hold on a second. Which? Let's try to make this quick, and I'm looking for the names here. We're at 160. I suppose now. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Let's go to. I'm stalling here. Okay, I found it. Canelo Alvarez had 2 fights this year. 2 fights this year. One loss to Dimitri Bivol, 175, and then a win against Triple G. What was it? 168 or some catchweight maybe? I don't know. But he had 1-1. What say you, fellas?
First of all, we're going to rank Triple G because he's still a champion at 160.
Well, we're doing Canelo. How about that?
Yes, sir. Okay, so then fine. If that's where we're at, mid to low pass, because he moved up and he took on a tough guy. I don't know if he was ranked the best guy in the division or not, but he took on a tough guy, but he lost decisively. And then I was not impressed with how he beat a 40-year-old guy who's definitely on the end of his career and who's moving up in weight for the first time in Triple G. It's the only decisive win he has over him in his career, and we're only judging this year, so I'm not going to go into the other fights. But this time the guy was war-torn, just coming off a war against Murata in Japan and 40 years old and been out of the ring for almost 2 years, and that's the best you can do with him. I wasn't impressed, but I can't fail him because he did beat a surefire Hall of Famer decisively this time. So mid to low pass.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna give him a solid pass because he lost, but he lost to a 75-pounder. He decided to challenge himself, and it was a clear victory for Dimitri Bivol. Although somehow you could find it where the judges gave him 5 rounds out of 12, so it was 5-7 according to the judges. The rounds that Bivol won, he won them like really overwhelmingly clear. But the ones that Canelo won, they were kind of swing rounds. But the dude, he challenged himself. He lost clearly, although the scorecards had him in a close fucking fight, 5-7. It was against a bigger dude. Now he challenged him. Then he faced Golovkin in the rubber match, which was supposed to be like this great fight based off what we saw in the second fight. And Golovkin gave him a tough fight, but the dude's he's always been tough. He's always gonna give anybody a tough fight. Guy's never been knocked out, and he hits hard as fuck. So Canelo did what he needed to, and in the third fight he won clearly compared to the first 2 fights. So I'm just gonna give him a solid pass.
All right, that's fair. We got 2 passes so far. Jimmy Reno, let us know if you're available, man. All right, I think he's still busy. All right, well,
I'm available. It's just on my mute button for whatever reason. It takes I have to fucking hit it 4 times. It's ridiculous for it to go off.
We can hear you now, man.
Pissing me off, but I try to stay muted, so I'm not like fucking talking over you. But so who are we on now?
Canelo.
Oh fuck. Pass.
There you go.
For this year, yeah, he beat Triple J. Yeah, it's pass. Okay.
I'll say this, man. I'll give him a pass because 40-year-old Golovkin is better than most of the guys in that division. In fact, I don't think anyone's really going to fight him next. I'd be surprised if any of these young guys still want to get in there with him. I will say that to me, the second fight, the trilogy, the last one was the rubber match was boring compared to the second fight. As far as fights go, it wasn't that boring. But like I said, compared to the rematch, it was because I was expecting more. So it was really my expectations that sort of skewed me. That being said, he fought Bivol at 175. He actually fought well against Bivol. Or at least if you compare Bivol's performance to other guys, I think especially after the Zurdo fight, a lot of people said, whoa, Canelo, for being such a short-ass fighter, actually gave him a good fight. I will say, though, that the Golovkin fight win is not getting that much praise, and I don't understand why. But I would even if you say that it wasn't a good performance, I would like for the media to be consistent, because White Repet showed a good graphic. He showed the headlines from ESPN and The Zone and other publications, and they're like, Shakur Stevenson dominates, it puts on a masterful performance against Valdez. Devin Haney, masterful against Kambosos. Then they show the headlines for the Canelo Golovkin fight, boring. Now I understand that it was, like I said, to me it was boring compared to the second fight. But why say boring when they could say masterclass too? The way they did with those other American fighters. So that was just something that did impress me about the media. And it just goes to show you there's something weird going on there. That being said, that was my little diatribe. You guys said pass. It's a high pass. It's a middle pass because he did lose one fight. But hey, he beat Golovkin. Let's see who else steps up to the plate against even a 40-year-old version of Golovkin. All right. Now we move on here. Hold on a second. Where are we at? All right, so that was Canelo. All right, so like Chief said, well, if we go with Canelo, we got to go with another guy that's featured prominently in this list for the past 3 years, and that is Gennady Golovkin, Triple G, 1-1 as well. 1 win, knockout win over a younger, hard-hitting Murata, and then that loss to Canelo in September. What say ye, fellas? What say ye?
And we're rating him for. Go ahead, Gonzo.
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. We're rating him for the year, not his career. Because if you're rating for his career, it's on a roll. But he went to Japan. This is a man that's never had a home defense. So he did a unification fight in another country again. Won emphatically because he won it by knockout. It may have been a challenging fight for him, but Murata is a hard puncher and he's a very big middleweight. He's a big, solid guy. He's not great, but he's going to give anybody a physical challenge because of how big and strong he is. And Golovkin, even though it was challenging because Murata's a tough opponent, it was still solidly Triple G's fight. At no point in time did I think Murata was ever closing in on a win. And then he stepped up and weight for the first time and took on arguably one of the top 3 pound for pound fighters in the world, and another all-time great, and gave him a challenging fight. So it's a solid pass. I can't give any higher than that. He did lose the fight. He did lose it decisively for the first time out of the 3. So he's 1-1, which is already better than what most people have done on this list because he fought twice. And all of them were title fights. And all of them were legit title fights. And all of them were against legit champions. And all of them were on the road, not in his home country. So that's a solid pass.
All right, for this year, that's a solid pass.
I'm going to go with high pass. I'm going to go with high pass.
Well, wait a minute. What did you give Canelo?
Canelo didn't really challenge himself to move up. He took what he thought was a soft touch at 175.
But regardless of whether he... all right, whatever. Yeah, you're right. We can't go into that too much. Guns?
So I gave Canelo like a solid pass. The reason why I'm giving Triple G a higher pass is the fact that he went to foreign ground to try and win another title. Canelo doesn't do that.
Well, he does do that. He's fucking fighting in the United States.
But we won't go into that. I'll take your point, sir.
All right. I get what you're saying. Gonzalo?
Let's say I'm going to give him a solid pass. The guy's 40. He's facing Father Time, but the dude still got that solid chin that I don't know if he's ever going to get knocked out. If he's still got some fights left to be fought. I don't know if he's going to retire contemplating or he's going to continue to fight the guys at his division. At 60, he moved up to 68 to fight Canelo. With that being said, he's old, so maybe he looked a little extra sluggish carrying because that's a high jump from 60 to 68. I don't know if there's any other division where you jump as many pounds as that one. Maybe from light heavy to cruiser, but yeah, 8 pounds. I'm not saying that the guy was going to be garbage, no, because he's an excellent fighter, champion at 60. But considering the fact that he's an older guy and he was kind of like already a little bit slow in the trigger, and this is a young man's game where if you're 1 split second and pulling that trigger, you're going to be second best to the punch. Now, with a little extra weight at 68, dude, yeah, he was getting tagged up by Canelo. And mind you, that fight, man, it was deceptively closer than what a lot of people think. Fucking Triple G brought it on late. In the 10th round, I still think he landed a punch that Canelo took notice to. I'm not saying they necessarily got hurt, but he didn't want to go for the knockout against old Triple G. So I'm going to give him a solid pass, and because of the Murata win as well, going to Japan in the beginning part of the year. I think it was this year.
Yeah, it was this year. Jimmy, Triple G this year. Well, what do you give him?
Fail.
Oh. Well, you got to break that down because you're going against the grain here.
Oh, all right. I just he should be retired. He's a mercenary. He didn't try to win that fight against fucking Canelo. He knew he wasn't going to win. I mean, he mailed that in. It was a situation of one guy really didn't want to fight, and the other guy was happy about it. And then Canelo's body was just like, by the time that fight came along, I don't think he ever really wanted the fight. Clearly, he didn't want that fight. It was just because Ben had done that, and there's a reason he waited him out that long. But the dude's 40 years old. He's made money. Get the fuck out, dude. Your choices of who you're fighting says you don't want to be in the game. Your performance or lack thereof against Canelo proves you no longer will be in the game. And all you're doing is besmirching the memory of what I used to have of you. Every time you go out there and do that with your fucking thin in head and fucking thin in hairline out there embarrassing yourself, stop it. Stop it. Tell your wife to put the fucking credit cards away or you're going to send her back to the mountains in fucking Asia and fucking get on with your life. It's over.
No. Well, listen, I'll say I'll give him a pass with the rest of the guys because he did beat Murata and he showed balls in that fight, taking heavy firepower and then coming back. I'm gonna credit Canelo for outboxing him, and so I'll say pass. But yeah, like I do agree with Jimmy though.
Murata was this year, right? Yeah, it was this year. He did beat him. So okay, I'll give him a pass by the skin of his dick. That's it. I wanted him to retire years ago. He should have retired. He has no business. Not at that division, not at that weight class. No, it's enough, dude. You're a shell of who you used to be. You fucking trained like an asshole up at that fucking high altitude for year after year. You wouldn't listen to anybody. There's so much evidence that it's not a smart thing to do, but he's a pig-headed motherfucker. Nice guy, but he should have fucking retired. That performance against Canelo was pathetic.
All right. Well, listen, that's we gave him a pass here. Let's go to another fighter, 168, Caleb Plant. Only one fight, one sensational knockout against Anthony Durrell. And he claims that Durrell called him, well, what did he say? I'll never lose to a white guy or something? And it seems like every time a black person says that, he gets his ass beat.
Referenced white.
All right. So it seems like every time a black person says that, they end up getting their ass beat by a white guy. It seems to be some sort of curse or something, one of many. Guys, what do you say about Caleb Plant? One fight, one sensational knockout, perhaps the knockout of the year. What do you fellas
say?
Low pass. But pass. Yeah, he kept himself relevant in the division, and that's good for his career, so it's got to be a pass because he's going to be in the title picture again soon. So pass, nothing spectacular.
I'm going to give him.
The knockout was spectacular, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the knockout, I'm suspecting it's going to be knockout of the year. In my opinion. I don't know when those awards come out, but for the ring, knockout of the year, I think. And freaking, a pass. He beat El Doc Durrell. And by the way, that whole I've never lose to a white boy. Durrell came out with the video after that fight, and he said, "You show me the evidence where I said that." I don't think he ever said that, man. This dude's lying. I tried to find it, but he never did. He never did say that. It's weird. Anyhow. It's showing his mentality is in the right place because he got that fight with who's he fighting? David Benavidez? Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah.
I like also that he's got I like also that he's got Edwards in his corner, but he didn't fire his original trainer, so he's got some loyalty going there where he's saying, "Like, listen, you'll stay on board." And just add somebody to the camp that's going to add some wrinkles to our game. And it seems to outwork, man. He was sitting more on that, because he's got a good left hook. He dropped Usyk twice with that left hook. So he seems to be now becoming a more aggressive fighter with those feet. Jimmy, what did you say?
Yeah.
I think Jimmy said pass, but I couldn't hear him properly.
Yeah, Jimmy led off with the pass.
Yes, pass. Just pass. It was a nice knockout. So it was a nice knockout, but it was a boring fight right up into that part. But you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, dude's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I said that on repeat.
Yeah, I remember that.
With that knockout, it was kind of cool because he actually sat down on his punches because when he went downstairs with that hook to the body, when he bent the knees. And he brought that weight down to get low to shoot the body shot. He pressed his feet down. So when he pushed his weight up and changed the levels with that hook upstairs, his feet had to be really pressed down on the canvas as he launched up. So he got a lot of power behind that hook. Just goes to show the difference between doing that and being on the tip of your toes when you punch. So dude can definitely punch, man.
I haven't been involved in the last half an hour or whatever, so I can just ask one question to get a little involvement here. Seriously, right now, you don't have to give you a full thing, but I think a lot of people are assuming that Benavidez is going to just go in there and wipe that kid out. I think they might be surprised. That's all I want to say. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised.
Open up that court. Yeah, please don't open up the can of worms. Because
I know. I just said. Said I'm not expecting anybody to give any fucking thing. I'm just letting it be out there. Setting this table, dude. That's all.
That's going to be a good fight for Jimmy. That's going to be a good fight. Yeah. That's a whole can of worms for a different day. But that definitely is
set the table. Get the fucking juices flowing. Get people thinking about it.
That's right.
Get people talking.
Speaking talking here.
Speaking of Benavidez, David Benavidez, one fight.
Yeah.
One fight
against 17-1 Lemieux.
I mean, what else is there to say? Yeah, let's just move.
That's guys, fail.
We all know. Just say it, everybody. We don't go into why. Just fail. I'm gonna go ahead.
Benavidez. Who did he fight?
David Lemieux. A shot David Lemieux. that Billy Joe Saunders in Triple G beat
another 40-year-old. Another 40-year-old.
Fuck out of
here. Hang it up.
I don't know.
That's what I tell my brother when he gets all drunk. You're 40 years old, dude. Have some respect for yourself. Wednesday night, dude. You're sloppy fucking drunk, dude.
I'm gonna give him a pass.
All right. No, Gonzalo, you're fucking kidding, right?
No, it's like, okay, Benavidez, well, Lemieux. Early, he was always dangerous, knocking fools out in the first, second, and third round, Lemieux. But I know he was shelling himself, but he still went in there and did what he needed to do. Lemieux had never been stopped like that early. Especially against a power puncher, do you really want to gamble? But just being tall and fast, he jumped in there, landed a combination, and fucking Lemieux was, he fell back against the ropes. It was kind of like impressive. But yeah, that was like a old version of Lemieux. I get it. But Lemieux can still crack. Anyways, the big thing about that, I think that, okay, he's at least scheduled to fight next year. He signed the dotted line, which is telling you that K-Bet plan was down to make the fight happen as well. But a lot of guys have been dunking this dude. So-called, he was supposed to be like the boogeyman. But now he's fighting Flair, so that's kind of cool. What I'm basically saying, it was never going to be easy for some guy to accept this guy's challenge, for some opponents to accept this dude's challenge. But finally, Plant did.
Well, here's the thing. Caleb Plant tried to make that fight 2 years ago. Lukowitz, big fight destroyer Lukowitz, is the one who put the kibosh on it, saying, oh, we need at least $7 million, plus that fight needs to marinate. So he's the one, his guys, his people kept that fight from happening. The same people that he re-signed with today.
Yep, and you know what, man? It's a fail, man.
It's Heyman, though. That's all Heyman, though. Fuck both of them, and fuck Heyman, too, up his ass.
It's a fail, man.
Lukowitz doesn't override Heyman under any circumstances.
It's a
he
fucking
does as a
fail.
man, but you're right. This year, I changed my mind. Not honor roll. Fucking C, because of his activity and his bullshit. But hey, by the way, I am looking forward to him icing Canelo.
Oh, come on. Hey, Chief has to make an announcement before he goes. Chief, go ahead.
Yeah, I do have to go, but my son actually got into to college today. He got accepted by ODU down here where we're living, and a partial scholarship too for his grades. So,
congratulations, brother! Congratulations to you and your wife.
Thank you very much. I wanted to make the announcement for him. I'm not going to mention his name because I like to keep my private life quiet to an extent, but definitely a proud dad today.
Good for you, brother. That's good for you, man. That's a good call to you and your wife. You know what I mean? That reflects well on you guys. So good for you.
That's right. Congratulations to Chief Jr. We're very proud of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what we'll call him, Chief Jr. And hopefully he sets the college on fire like he did high school, and he'll be a physical therapist in a couple of years. So anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Good night, brother.
Thank you,
take care,
Thank
guys.
you for being on.
Good night, Chief.
Shout out for cracking the books and saving Chief some money too, for Christ's sake.
Exactly, man. All right, we're almost done here, fellas. We're almost done. So let's keep on cracking here. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. All right, where are we at here? Hold on a second, real quick. Well, let's move to 175 pounds now. Skipping through some names here. For some reason, I can't find. Okay, Dimitri Bivol. 2 fights, 2 wins. Beat the number 1 pound-for-pound guy in the world, Canelo, by decision. And then beat an undefeated, albeit lesser fighter in Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Nevertheless, 2 wins. Fellas, what say you?
Yeah, I'm going to give him Dean's List.
Oh.
Yeah, that's on a roll. The kid hardly loses a round. Master of the distance, like we've mentioned many times over. Great boxer. He's got some power too. He's aggressive when he needs to be. Hopefully he can continue showing that aggressiveness, so he can be an exciting fighter that people want to see. And yeah, just the victories and the characters speak for themselves.
All right. So that's an honor roll there from the Guns. That's a high standard right there. I mean, that's a prestigious award there. Who else? Who else wants to go? All right. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and give him the honor roll too. I mean, it was just 2 fights. Would like to see a guy be more active, but hey, that it's the way it is nowadays. And listen, 2 fights, man. Number 1 pound for pound guy in the world, and then undefeated Zurdo Ramirez. And yeah, Zurdo Ramirez, like, I didn't give him much of a chance, but it's an undefeated guy, big puncher, big guy too. Looks like a fucking cruiserweight in there. And Bivol did what he had to do, just outbox him. It's going to be very hard to beat this guy. So, unless anybody else wants to go, I'm giving him.
I'll go real quick.
I mentioned character.
Beterbiev, you might be able to fool these guys, but look, dude, what are we talking about? You stayed pro, you stayed amateur until you're 36 and a half years old. You come into a light heavyweight division that's basically vacant. You got Joe Smith, like, you know, the Glass Joe and Mike Tyson's playing. You know, he's there by the skin. Good guy, but let's be real. He's an underdog story. That's only going to go so far. You're a big dude. You're strong, and you hook. You're knocking everybody out. So what? You take your seat and get the hell out of here. I think. Just being honest.
All right.
Yeah, one last thing, BDA. It's you guys. He's racking up the title defenses. I think he's got like 10 now. And I said character earlier because I was quite impressed when he all of a sudden, like, I heard him speak English. He sounded real coherent and clear. It's like, damn, this dude's like, he's taking it seriously. Like, yeah, I thought he speaks pretty good English. And the fact that when Jermall Charlo ran up on him, the one guy that wasn't making any sense was Jermall Charlo, and he actually told him, hey man, you're not even in my fucking division. And people want to take pictures with him. You know, he's a pretty legit dude, especially since they don't even want to mention that where he's from. They got to say he's like from Indio, California, because they don't want to mention the word Russia. That's right. So, I mean, yeah, he didn't break character. And he showed decisiveness when it comes to inside the ring performances.
Well, there you go. We're designating the honor roll to Dimitri Bivol. More fighters.
Bivol. I'm sorry, guys. I take it back. Bivol.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were. Yeah, I was wondering.
I thought you were talking about Beterbiev, sir. Sir, I thought you were talking about Beterbiev.
All right.
No,
all right.
Bivol, different story. Hey, good job, buddy.
There you go. Well, actually, let's move on then. The other guy in this division, Artur Beterbiev. 1 fight, 1 sensational win over Joe Smith Jr. Just brutalized the guy. Nobody had ever done that to poor Joe Smith. But it was only 1 fight. Now, some people say, yeah, but he got injured. Okay, whatever the reason is. He only fought once. Fellas, what say ye?
Yeah,
okay, now we'll say it. Okay, dude, look, you're 35 years old. You fought in the amateurs until you're 35. I don't know who ever does. What are you doing in the amateurs until you're 35? Then you come into you turn pro when there's nobody else in the division. You're a big, strong guy. You hook. You're knocking people out, but so what? Who are you knocking out? And you have 15 fights and you're 37 years old, and you're up there hanging out in Canada with St. Pierre. I don't.
Well,
buy
first
it.
of all,
right.
I get what you're saying, but he's not. He's older than fucking 35. But I know he's not a hook guy. He barely throws any hooks, by the way. I'd like to see him throw more hooks. But anyway, yeah,
I just mean all power. I just mean all power. Like,
okay.
Nobody that he's. He has walked through everybody, but you have to say who these people are. I mean, like I said, Joe Smith Jr., great story and all that. He did send B. Hopkins out with his little boots sticking up in the air. That's all you could see. You know, knocked him through the ropes, the whole 9. So I commend him for that. He's a good dude, but come on, man. He's the most feared guy in boxing to hear these guys talk about it. But anyway, that's all.
All right. Jimmy, are you there? All right. Well, listen, I like Joe Smith Jr. He did some good sheet work for me, for my attic. Oh, there you go, Jimmy. Joe Smith Jr.
I'm giving him a fucking pass. He destroyed Joe Smith. To destroy him like that, I mean, absolutely. I'm going to give him a pass. I'm not going to give him an honor roll because of inactivity, but because he's a big fucking, fucking jacked up Chechnyan ISIS-looking motherfucker, muscle bound and shit. He gets injured all the time. That's been the history of his whole career. Has been one long injury, some stupid management decisions. Remember the time? There was a time he was with the PBC. If you can believe that or not, but. So high pass because he took care of business. He's got a fucking 100% KO ratio and he's a badass. But he's also probably gonna fucking wear a suicide vest one day. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Come on, now wait a minute. Where are we going here?
Come on.
It's a family show.
Fucking those Chechens are sickos, man. I'm just kidding.
Jimmy's gonna
I just watched them on their death squads. They're crazy motherfuckers. So
yeah, Jimmy's gonna get a shot.
Mega men off.
All right, let's go to another pound for pound star here.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, man. Let's go to another pound for pound star here. Jake Paul. No, I'm kidding. Hold on. Let me take him off the screen. Who is it that wasn't? Okay, yeah, let's go with, we're in the heavyweights now. Almost done here, fellas. Let's go with, if I can find it, here we go. Oleksandr Usyk. 1 fight, 1 win. Been there, done that against Anthony Joshua. Nevertheless, still a good win against the guy that outweighed him by a lot. Very big dude, competent, and Usyk just beat him. Fellas, what say ye?
We'll say honor roll.
Whoa.
Yeah, how many times did he fight? Once or twice? Were the Joshua fights?
Once this year. Right? Once, yes.
I'm gonna say high pass.
High pass. All right.
We're talking Usyk?
Yes, sir.
Fucking honor roll, man. He beat that fucking dude that big. I mean, he came up from cruiserweight.
Were you about to say the N-word?
Although, but he only fought once, though, man.
Nincompoop.
Yeah, he was going to say. No, but go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead, man.
No, I was going to say that big Brit, but then I changed my mind. But yeah, anyway, but he only fought once. But he did fucking win, so that's pretty impressive, man, to come back. Although it's easier the second fight because he was out of the two, had the ability to do that. But yeah, no, because of his inactivity though, once a year. Although didn't I give honor roll to somebody else who only fought once this year? I might have. But yeah, no, listen, he's so good, man. I'm gonna give him honor roll for that. Fuck it. I'm gonna stick with my guns. You guys can't fucking force me to change my mind.
All right. Jimmy's getting fired up here. Pete, what'd you say?
He was on a field trip over in the Ukraine, so he had excused absence, even though he would have fought twice a year. And he would have fought again in December against Tyson Fury, by the way, if shithead hadn't weaseled out. So basically, he's done nothing but honor roll since I can't remember. I mean, all through cruiserweight, and he's done nothing to drop down. He's honor roll, of course.
I'm gonna say high pass because he's been there, done that with Anthony Joshua, and it was only 1 fight this year. Last year we gave him the honor roll because it was a big leap, but this year, he could have done more. Now again, just like with Lomachenko, okay, yeah, he went to war, but that's his choice, so it goes against him. But it's a high pass, man, and it's certainly something. It's quite a feat, and like Pete said, maybe he could have fought earlier. No, excuse me, but the Fury thing. Oh, well, actually, we're gonna get to Fury. All right, so hold on a second. Pass right there for Oleksandr Usyk. Now let's go to, hold on a second, the aforementioned Tyson Fury. Apparently his middle name, what the fuck? that's Virgil Ortiz. What the fuck? Hold on a second. I was gonna say, what the fuck happened to Tyson Fury? Apparently his middle name is Luke. Oleksandr Usyk was saying, I'm coming for you, Luke. I said, what, Luke? Apparently that's his middle name or first name, whatever. Tyson Fury, 2 fights, 2 wins, 2 stoppage wins. 1 over Dillian White, whom a lot of people wanted to get a big fight. He finally got it, and this guy knocked him out with an uppercut. Then he beat the crap out of, essentially he just slapped Chisora for about 11 rounds before they finally stopped it. Fellas, what say ye?
Fast.
I heard pass there from Gonzalo, okay?
Pass.
He drops out, he comes back, he's retired, he's not, he's sitting in a Ferrari, he's basically just he's like a class jerk off. And for this year, yeah, fine, pass him.
Oh, you're giving him a pass, all right. All right, everyone's giving him a pass. Listen, the Dillian White fight alone, that's a pass. But he did piss off a lot of people with his antics. He gave Joshua a deadline, and he goes, no, come on, let's make it happen. He's rushing him like a Japanese businessman on coke with a hooker. It's like, come on, let's go, time is money. So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe Fury. We'll give him a pass. He deserves it. I mean, like again, he looked like he turned into one punch knockout artist against fucking Dillian White. So I'll give him his credit, man. He certainly earned it, but the pass. But next year He has to stop with the mind games. He has to stop with the extracurricular activities outside the ring. He needs to get his act together, man. So we're going to give him a pass.
I'll give him a pass, but me too. I'll pass him, but it's kind of begrudging because the fact he fought Chisora, that money grab shit fight, was just such a joke. Notice they haven't said nothing about the number of pay-per-views that thing did.
That's right. That's true. Hey, man. What the fuck? Yeah, what happened with that, man? That's a good point. Now, I didn't even get to Anthony Joshua, but he got a loss. And then I'd be willing to give him a fail just off him saying that he was going to go back to the raw, rugged streets. And he was talking about all these drug dealers that he looked up to. I said, all right, that's a fail for me right here, man. That's not a good example. But anyway, what else, man? Well, yeah, that's it. We went to the list here.
Well, Joshua, no, I give Joshua a pass too, man.
Shit, yeah, I give him fucking.
And it's not because of the drug talk, that stupid shit. But I think people are belittling him because he lost to Usyk. I mean, he looked better. He came back and looked better.
He improved.
And I'm telling you, exactly. I think if it's crazy, like he should get in right away because no matter who he fights, it would have been best to fight within 3 to 5 months of that because he didn't take any sustained injuries or a beating by no means. I'm just telling you, it would have been like fighting dudes in slow motion, other heavyweights after taking on Usyk. So I think he's going to be a better fighter for it.
He lost.
It all depends on his mind.
He lost this year. He lost. And may I remind you about the little tirade he went on after the Usyk fight. That would be a fail. But anyway, I didn't even put him on the screen, so it's immaterial in this instance.
But that was a little bizarre, huh?
I mean, come on, man. The guy was fucking. Remember, he's the first guy I've ever seen blaming the first super heavyweight I've ever seen blame his large size for a loss. I'm not 10 stone or whatever the fuck system they have over there in the UK. Come on, man.
I'm a big guy. Yeah, we get tired easy. Yeah, that was very sad.
Bro, you know what? If you could get through the bullshit, he's just upset. He gave it all. He came in as prepared as he could. He actually fought a better fight the second fight than he did the first fight. He made the adjustments, and he just cannot beat this guy. He's just the second best heavyweight in the division, and it fucking frustrates him. He was just fucking letting it out. So, I mean, if you want to throw your helmet after the fucking game, you lost. But I mean, that motherfucker, he gave Usyk a run, right? Usyk took some fucking hellacious body shots.
He did.
Still not Tyson Fury out. You know what I mean?
We forgot to rate BDA. I'm gonna give myself an honor roll. There you go. Every year I get an honor roll. I don't know how. It's people say, how does he do it? How do I do it every year? That's the better question. So, hey, listen. Sometimes
really? You just honor roll. You were stepped down. I was going to give you the dean's list, but whatever.
Come on.
If you want to be like that, if you want to be like fucking all, I'm humble, whatever.
Hey, what did Joshua say before the Usyk rematch? Fuck being humble. Remember that? When he was saying he was going to, I mean, come on, man.
Fuck humble.
Well, listen. Guys, we got through this in under 4 hours. At least we didn't have to split into 2 parts. But hey, listen, it was fun. It went by quickly because it was fun. I'll say that much, man. Right. So I got to give a big shout out to you fellas. The Jim Marino, Gonz, Chief was here. Pete jumped on as well. Okay, come on. Anything else you guys want to say before we move on and wrap it up?
Just want to say just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope everybody has great holidays. Be safe. Remember, do unto others and then run. And that's about it, man.
That's well said, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I know I was talking about that rooster story off the cuff. Maybe it's on the I think the rooster was old, but he was from a good bloodline or something. Yeah, they had to give him oxygen through the beak from some guy, but he ended up passing away anyways. On the pool table, man. He died on the pool table. That was fucking sad. Anyways.
I'm sorry to laugh, man, but it's just the way you're saying it. They were giving the rooster oxygen. They had him up. They were operating. So you didn't take him to a vet. You were actually operating in the bar on the pool table.
The guy, one of the guys, he jumped in. He's like, he grabbed him from the beak, and he opened up the mouth, and he started like like doing CPR in it.
No, that's not true. You guys, you're fucking with me. You're fucking with us, man.
No, I swear to God, I swear to God,
Mouth to cock.
No, that's
mouth to mouth.
That's not unusual. People do that with animals all the time. If it's a pet, if it's heart stopping, you try to breathe, get blood.
No, wait a minute. Hold on.
I swear to God, Jimmy,
hold on. And Pete, you're from Florida. That's fucking Rooster, Roy Jones Nation. Do people do that with roosters, giving him mouth to mouth?
Fuck no. The roosters.
I'm just telling you what I saw.
They mind their own business, but once in a while, we had one for about 5 years. My mom had one. Total psychotic. He thought it was a fucking Tasmanian devil. He fucked the chickens. He had no care about them. If he saw you 50 feet across the yard, the chickens be damned, he would charge at you. You could kick him like a fucking a football. And as soon as he got done coming, like foghorn leghorn, as soon as he got done, he would come right back at you. Total psychotic Al-Qaeda rooster.
Well, there you go.
And I'm so stupid that I thought that you needed the roosters to have the eggs. I'm a fucking idiot. We put up with this rooster attacking your ass for this long, and then meanwhile, I thought we needed that. I thought we needed the rooster for the eggs, and they're like, "No, dumbass. That's the eggs are, no.
Well,
as soon as I heard that, the rooster's out of here.
Yeah, you don't need the rooster for the eggs, but you in order for the eggs to be born, where they can actually, there's two different types of eggs. In other words.
Well, wait a minute. So, but hold on. So, Gonzalo, you took the rooster to the bar?
Yeah, I walked it to the bar. I mean, it was like in this.
You walked it.
It was like a 3-story hotel room, and on top of the third story, they had some chicken pens, and the old lady was my friend's mother-in-law, and I was taking care of the chickens too. But anyway, that's a long story. But that chicken, I took it down to the bar, which is like in the corner, the fucking the Cajón Coahuila, the second alleyway down in TJ.
So you were like Kramer in that. So you were like Kramer in that episode of Seinfeld where he's walking the fighting rooster. He's walking him like he's a dog with a leash and everything. Little Yeti.
Yeah, with the little string on the foot. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Jeez.
Like in the car.
I carried him into the bar.
Gonzalo was taking a nap. Gonzalo was taking a nap, and the rooster comes whistling down the street with a 2x4 in his hand and picks Gonzalo's ass up in the air and spanks his ass and then runs. Remember Foghorn Leghorn used to fight with a dog?
Yeah, man.
I mean, this fucking story sounds absurd. I know it sounds absurd,
it
but
does,
absurd,
man. Hey, by the way,
just trust me.
Real quick, man, we should do a second renaissance on roosters one of these days because those are some fantastic animals. And by the way, I forgot to put when I say we were gonna give whether we were gonna give me an honor roll pass, whatever. I forgot to post my actual picture here. This is first time ever I'm revealing what I look like. There you go. There you go. The BDL. Look at that. Look at that definition. You don't get that. That's natural, by the way. That's natty.
Nice.
No fucking no nandrol or whatever the fucking nandrol. There you go.
You're a handsome man.
I know, man. I know. I mean, listen.
Who's that? Is that Lee Priest? That's a short dude, huh?
Well, I used to fucking. Well, did you hear about that? The guy who brought the fucking giraffe into the bar.
No.
So it's not. Yeah, no. It's a joke. Was it a guy goes into a bar with a giraffe? They get absolutely shit-faced. The fucking giraffe falls over drunk. The guy goes to leave. The bartender says, "Oi, you can't leave that lion here." And he said, "It's not a lion. It's a giraffe."
You hear about did you hear about the black giraffe that got arrested in Russia and just got released? Exactly.
Oh, come on! You guys are going too far now. Now you're making. She's an American hero, or he. I think he's a he, because I saw a picture of.
No, it's a female. Look at the guns on that. See this fucking rack she got?
that's what I'm saying. She's got no tits. I said it in the last show, but David Benavides is bigger tits.
Crazy.
All right. Well, listen. With that being said, we're ending it on a high note as always here. A very classy show. Shout out to you guys for sticking around. Shout out to you guys for sticking around here for almost 4 hours. Really appreciate it. It was fun. It flew by. Shout out to everybody who donated the super chat. Sorry we couldn't open up the phone lines here, but they were fucking up from the beginning. So we're opening up next episode if we can. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about Jackson in there, Jonathan Morrison, 2 Matador, Fluffy Toaster 79, AJR, Sergeant USMC, Sue Anderson in the house as well. Anderson Aldo. Knockout Ned. Sergeant Z, USMC, 2 Matador Parukua, Super Sardonic, Cool Boy Curry, Hawker Mustang. Who else was here? Fucking, if I forgot anybody, it's because we gotta go, guys. We've been on here for almost 4 hours. Shout out to you. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Spread the BDA gospel. And we'll see you in the next one, fellas. Take it easy. Thanks for watching.